don't tell them anymore.
By play courtesy of KIRO Radio in Seattle. Godspeed the Patriots at 13 and third. Come back 9 days after Cherokee Seattle. Starting down at close. Worked on the mouth by 20 minutes. Will be there out. Starts now. I'm Doug Russell. Good morning.
Giannis was the Super Bowl last night.
Saw that. Mike Clemens had it.
Wow.
Now that he's a board member of Calcium.
That is hilarious. I like all this is worse than anything he was doing on the trade deadline. Hey, he's getting paid. Hey, if that's just a spider contract that they're finding him.
Let's huddle up. The Monday edition of the Huddle coming to you the first day of winter. I'm not talking about the calendar or the meteorological winter. I'm talking about the first day of the off season in the National Football League. Welcome in, Drew, Billy, and Armin, bringing it to you from headquarters. Oh, we got plenty to unpack from not just the Super Bowl 60 in the books, but the entirety of the NFL season. William, I just couldn't wait to talk to you as I watched it unfold because I said, I can't wait to talk to Billy about when's the last time you saw an offensive line get ragdolled as bad as the Patriots did last night?
About 365 days ago when the Kansas City Chiefs got tossed around by the Philadelphia Eagles in a rather similar fashion, just with a different future Hall of Fame quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to say that to Drake May, who knows if they're going to be back, but to look as pedestrian as he did last night, that's going to be a tough film for him to watch. That is going to be a really, really tough film for Drake May to watch, who was sensational all year long for an offensive line that was pretty bad all year long, objectively bad. However, when you go back and watch it, you're going to see multiple times, and I think he gets sacked 6 times officially because the one registers as an interception and not a strip sack taken back for a touchdown. Luckily for those that had interception return for a touchdown, maybe at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Come on now, Billy.
Not me.
Oh,
no,
sorry,
not me.
buddy.
Other people.
But
there's thanks. There's a moment in time where like 4 or 5 times where he gets sacked, Drew. He's at the top of his release. He's at the top of his break. He's at the top of his drop. Ball's got to come out. And he was skittish last night. Whether that was because he got sped up by the Seattle rush or what, that is going to be a tough film to watch because there were big plays there. There were plays available for New England. However, maybe it even speaks better to how good the MVP Matt Stafford looked 3 times against that Seattle team. They beat them once. They lost twice. Twice they probably should have won. One, they had a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. And what a different season it could have been if Zach Charbonnet's 2-point conversion in Seattle doesn't go the other way, and a much, much different Super Bowl we might have watched, which objectively, Drew, I think was one of the biggest blowout lopsided games in the big game that we've watched in my lifetime. Like the majority of Super Bowls over the last 25, 30 years have been great games. They have been heart pumping. And last night, that was a put the kids to bed rather early.
What if I told you that we were going to have a Super Bowl in which 30 points would be scored combined in the fourth quarter and the game still sucked?
Yeah.
Didn't they all feel like garbage points? I was just going to say.
All garbage
They felt
time.
like all garbage points the whole time.
29-13, the final for Seattle. It didn't seem anywhere near that close. Now, a lot of caveats to this. We're going to be picking through this all day. 877-794-1973 gets you in, you early risers. We love you hanging out with us this early. That we get to pick through this, and again, everything here is filtered through the lens of the Packers. And I come away from watching this game. Yeah, Seattle, tip your cap, amazing. Like that defense, like this. What do they call it? The dark
side. I think
the dark side they came up with because they wanted to be different from the Legion of Boom. They're right up there with the Legion of Boom.
Very good. Yeah,
they're right up there with the 85 Bears. They're right up there with the Steel Curtain. Like this is what was a historic performance by this defense. Now, but you watch that and you say, okay, how far away are the Packers from playing the Super Bowl? And the answer is, well, we don't know because anything can happen in the freaking NFL.
Right.
Because the Patriots just went from 4-13, picking in the top 4 of the draft, to playing in the Super Bowl. Now they got boat raced, but they played in the Super Bowl, right? Seattle last year was like 10-7 with Geno Smith at the helm, and they played in the Super Bowl. So if you have a good GM, if you have the right mix, it's like it's there. Like I came away thinking, the Packers could be at SoFi next year. 1,000%.
Yeah, and what you really need, Drew, are the right lottery ticket free agent hits to become your DeMarcus Lawrence, like Seattle was, where he became one of their most feared pass rushers. You can check me if I'm wrong. I think he's making like $9 million, right? I think he's on like a 1-year deal, but he was a legit star, a good player, a multiple-time Pro Bowler in Dallas, needed to get somewhere else, and he hits. You also have a little bit of a clashing of where we always feel like there's a new trend in the game of how you have to win. For a long time, it was what New England did. It was have a rookie contract quarterback, young player, load up with a bunch of cap space. Milton Williams was the highest priced Patriot of all time. They gave Diggs a bunch of money that nobody else was going to give him. And you can build up your roster the other way. And now we're seeing where Tampa Bay is in the same realm where they've grabbed somebody where everyone else is at 50. We could get somebody who might at certain times during the year, certain seasons, Sam Darnold for back-to-back years playing better than a lot of those $50 million guys. Yeah. But if we can pay somebody 30 and get $50 million performance, that's a kind of inefficiency that we're just never going to be able to match in a game that is so hell-bent on how much you can do around the margins with your roster.
If it's a copycat league, I hope that some GMs will copy John Schneider in pulling the trigger in season trades. They got Leonard Williams, Ernest Jones, and Rashid Shaheed in season.
Yeah.
All those guys.
Impact guys.
All three big time
over
guys.
The last couple of years. And it's like you add guys and fill your holes, and look, and Rashid Shaheed, look at how the impact he had. I mean, it's that I want to see copied. Like, okay, let's get a little bit more
aggressive.
In season.
Because when the Seahawks pick in the 4th round and it comes up to the Saints, because that was one of the whatever it was, a 4th and a 6th or a 5th and a 6th that they gave for Shaheed, they're not going to be upset. They'll be okay. Just like Packers fans will be okay when number 20 rolls around and they're like, wait, I'm wearing my Micah Parsons jersey. Yeah. All right, sweet.
It's
good draft pick.
Okay. So
but the other part of it, Drew, for Seattle, and this is the one where, you can definitely question it as a Packers fan. And it's going to do a little bit of digging, and it might be one that kind of rips off the Band-Aid, and hindsight's always 20/20. And strangely enough, might marry up to the conversation we're having going into the offseason very well on the Bucs side. Seattle's the one that pulled the trigger on the deal that everybody believed the Packers could have had if you would have moved off Aaron Rodgers after the 2021 season. When they trade for Russell Wilson a mere seconds after the reports come out that Aaron Rodgers is returning to the Green Bay Packers for his 18th season. They get 3 firsts. One of those becomes Devin Witherspoon, who has a sack and a half last night. They move off another one. Charles Cross, I believe, is another one of those. They're starting left tackle. And they got like 4 starters from the trade that the Packers could have had, but didn't take. And again, I still don't know that I would have done it.
Yeah.
But you have all of this now where they get 3 frontline starters. I believe Kenneth Walker was in that draft. Jackson Smith and Jigba comes a couple of years later. And all of a sudden you're looking at a team that is completely revamped and rebuilt when they decided like, yeah, Russell Wilson doesn't want to be here. We don't want to pay him that kind of money. We will take those 3 first-round picks. And when you do the right thing with them like John Schneider did, this can be how it goes.
The in-game prop was going to be, will Walker rush for more yards than Sam Darnold throws for?
Yeah.
The Patriots gained in the whole game was where it was looking.
And I think Bad Bunny carried the ball for more yards than the Patriots gained in the game. So
probably.
Oh my, because we didn't even get to that. We'll get to that. The commercials, it's the spectacle of the NFL, and it's the culmination. And now it's like, we're going to go through withdrawals. We're going to pick through this. There's so much to get to in this game. It's like, where do you start? It was an ass whooping of epic proportions. Tip your cap to the Seahawks. There were so many thoughts throughout the game. I actually texted our pal Shanna Quinn. I'm like, oh my God, your Bills should be here. This was their year. Like, they would have been a better watch than the Patriots.
I think every fan base, I shouldn't say every fan base. I think a lot of fan bases were thinking the same thing watching both teams, but that encapsulates this NFL year where there were no super dominant teams.
And that's the thing. The Patriots, like, to me, like, you watch them last night, you say, oh, they'd be like the 5th or 6th best team in the NFC. Right. And then it's like, I wonder what they're working through, because this is uncharted territory for them. Not since Steve Grogan went against the '85 Bears.
Good reference.
Have they been humbled like this on this stage? Like, just absolutely, dominated, thrashed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, now you can understand. Like, they're saying, well, maybe Drake May he turned into a pumpkin. Maybe he's going to pucker in big games, right? No, he'll be fine. He'll be okay.
I'm interested. We do this always where you find out how hurt somebody is after the case, and that rumbling came out.
That came out with the injections and all that.
Yeah, it definitely might be more interesting in the next couple of days to see if he was actually dinged.
And then people saying Josh McDaniels overrated. Get rid of him.
I mean, I was floored, guys. Like, when you're watching it, and this is where, again, I went back and saw some of it, and this is why it's going to be tough for Drake to watch, because they have open receivers. Like, they have multiple times. They have open guys. You just didn't trust it. And again, understandably so, because Will Campbell was getting absolutely thrown around like a Campbell's, not chunky soup. You're grabbing 2 cans of the chicken noodle in the little old school red and white can. Oh, yeah. You need 2 of them to fill the bowl. And apparently that was the small arms for Will Campbell, because he was getting thrown around yesterday. Wow. But similar to what happened most of the playoffs, they just were able to overcome it because Kyle Shanahan was on the pregame show, and he said a lot of really, really smart things. But if he ever wants to get into TV and out of coaching, good move.
He was good, yeah.
Good move for him. But he said there were 2 Super Bowl defenses all year long, where as long as the offense and special teams didn't screw it up for them, they could have won the Super Bowl by themselves. Said Seattle and Houston. Well, Houston's offense did screw it up for them against the Patriots 3 weeks ago. And Seattle. New England, I thought, did a really good job defensively early, where they heated up Darnold to – there were 2 or 3 balls. The one to Davis on the first drive, that could have been going 90 the other way in a split second, but they were able to weather the storm long enough.
At the flip side of that coin is, if not for Christian Gonzalez playing his arse off, this would have been even worse.
Yeah, it would have looked more like Philly and Kansas City last year.
It would have been even worse. So it's just, there's so much to unpack, but I came away thinking, the Packers are fine. Packers are not that far away. Give me Micah Parsons and let me, and Xavier McKinney and Edgerrin Cooper, and they're in the mix, and can I foresee them going to the Super Bowl? Sure. Does everything have to go right the way it did for Seattle, the way it did like Seattle? You're right. Even getting past the Rams. Mm-hmm. It's not easy, and it's never going to be easy, but I can envision it.
Well, that seems to be the mix now in the NFL. I mean, I think if you're healthy, if you remain healthy enough, the Packers are as talented to do it, but you can't beat yourself, and you have to have things go your way at the right time. So
I would think, like LaFleur, like, there were games when the Packers offense struggled, and series and halves against the Bears, the second half of 2 games that they lost. But I never saw a guy give up 14 pressures for the Packers in a game.
I mean, that
Yeah.
Browns game. That's the one I think about. When we lost the Browns, that was the worst
Yeah.
I've seen offensive line plays at unit.
But even that wasn't as horrible as what we saw last night because
don't know,
it wasn't
man.
just protecting
Yeah, it was just-
Drake May. Their running backs were getting drilled behind the
Sure,
line.
it was terrible work.
routinely.
Yeah.
It was just they were engulfed.
There was nothing you could do outside of a couple of those Henderson outside runs to grab a little bit of something. And the Patriots are going to think about it a lot. I also think Vrabel knew it early. He's like, listen, we are going to struggle to move the football.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to take a couple of deep shots. That's where more of the longer developing plays were. He's like, if we can get rid of the ball deep, we have to, because we're not going to be able to run it. And I don't think we're going to get multiple first downs. They went from their first drive, I believe it was, their first down, to the last minute of the third quarter, their next first down. So that was how much of a slog it was for them to do anything in the
Their
middle of the
recipe
game.
this
Game to
year was
watch.
Drake May take care of the ball, and when stuff's melting down, run for 15.
Yeah.
They didn't do that.
And he didn't run it much at all last night.
5
No, that
carries for
surprised me.
37 yards.
Yeah, and he was one vote from being the MVP of the league. I kept thinking about that last
Yes.
night. I mean, this was
Yeah.
the best player in the league. I don't know, but obviously it shows you how important protection is.
Well, but Armin, look at how many of the MVP quarterbacks have gone into the Super Bowl against like a top 5 defense.
and struggled.
This
Yeah.
performance is actually pretty similar to what you see, right? Like Manning MVP quarterback when the Seahawks won their last Super Bowl. And I mean, granted, the first play of the game is a safety, but that was one of the most miserable performances of his career.
Well, the guy who won the Super Bowl threw for 202 yards. Like, you don't expect
Just
that.
enough. Man,
Just
Red
enough.
Hot Tim Nod at 877-794-1973 waking up with us early today said, anyone checked on Justin Jefferson this morning? That is a moment for Justin.
Is this worse for the Vikings or the Jets though? Like last night, like is this a worse moment for the Vikings or the Jets?
Definitely the Vikings. Because I don't think in all earnest, Armin,
Yeah.
anybody truthfully believes the Jets can ever win anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's why I think Saleh
Like,
got another
deep down
job.
in your bones.
Right.
Amy Adams Shrunks, like, if he was coaching 30 other teams, maybe we don't give him another shot
Exactly.
right away. But he's coaching for Woody Johnson and Drew. I don't know that anybody can win there.
The amount of response
Well-
I got when I questioned Saleh getting another job was overwhelmingly the same. It doesn't count. It's the Jets.
It's the Jets.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like the Patriots went from 4-13 to playing in the Super Bowl. Elliott Wolf he's going to be able to cook because he doesn't have to pay the quarterback. But there, like you said, Billy, there's 2 ways to go about this. Go get the mid-level quarterback that throws for 202 yards and doesn't kill you,
Yeah.
doesn't make the mistakes, and go win that way and feed your team and water the plants in other parts of the garden that rather than the quarterback, sprinkle the money around the rest of the garden.
Yep.
Is what they did. So maybe there's a paradigm shift. You can clearly win without the franchise MVP quarterback because Sam Darnold not in that conversation.
Not in that conversation, but he can be just good enough for you. And just like Baker
Absolutely.
Mayfield seemed like he was just good enough
Yes.
for Tampa, where I think in week 5, Drew, people were saying he was going to be the MVP, right?
Like it,
you
yeah.
start thinking about it back early part of the season. Like you can have those dudes who have a run like that. And for Darnold, he's got who knows what kind of runway here, because we talk about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson as just entering their prime. Darnold was picked in the same draft as those guys.
Exactly.
And I think technically he's a little younger than both of them. So
Hard to believe, isn't
it's
it?
a strange thought of, okay,
Who's going to win more Super Bowls? Those guys.
oh my God, is
gonna
Darnold
get
going to
there.
win more than those guys appear in?
Who knows? But then again, the way it's built, can Seattle sustain this? We'll see.
Well,
the
that's a
interesting
huge
one.
question
And-
because it doesn't
all right.
seem like
So many
we're
questions.
in
Like,
that environment in the NFL now to do that.
you had a lot of time because the game wasn't that compelling to think about the whole landscape of the league and where the Packers.
Oh, yeah.
fit in.
A lot of
And
time
I
at
came away
9-0.
feeling better about the Packers, right? Than I probably did, last week at this time.
Does this feel like the 90s where the NFC is far superior than the AFC outside of just the quarterbacks?
That's what I was thinking last night.
In some ways, but I think
Because-
it doesn't feel like the
but-
90s in that there's no dominant
But then
dynasties.
again, the Patriots played the schedule. They didn't play like really good defenses during the year. Like they weren't ready they weren't up to game speed. Like they weren't battle tested against
the
really,
best three
really good
the best
defenses.
3 defenses they played were the 3 teams they played in the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah. It was
and
like,
you saw what
yeah.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
well, they won 3 games.
Well,
I
yeah,
know,
but
it was.
I mean, they were losing in Denver until the snow hit and it got a little freaky. Like that. If I'm in Denver, I'm pissed. today. If I'm in Buffalo, I'm pissed today. Like, look what we let get away because we would have played better than that. We'd have given a better fight than they did.
I'm interested, though, because the way they were running the football, it did feel like the big brother that was playing against like his middle school friend or his brother's friends.
And later in the show, I got to tell you guys, I got a story for you guys about an encounter I had, and it ties into Packers Bears, National Marquette Day, and, day-long drinking. So I got it's going to be
Those all sound
it's
like
going to be a stem winder for
Let's
Armin.
go.
We got game balls and kicks to the balls coming up. We'll start that after 6 o'clock. Dolph is going to join us, our halftime reporter. We will talk about the halftime show, which is what people want to argue about. We will talk about that as well. Just random thoughts. We didn't have time to organize our thoughts. It's one thing about coming on this quickly after the game. I don't really have organized, cogent, coherent. We're going to talk about this, and this. Let's just scatter shoot. And
scatter shoot, bucket, run around and have fun looking at the memes of people putting the worst throws you've ever seen together and saying Drake May in the Super Bowl. Tough internet for Drake May this morning.
Yeah. And it didn't help that the Patriots receivers aren't catching anything either.
He is throwing it to a guy named Pop and Booty.
Listen, we got Bubs.
That's a tough deal right there.
We got Bubs in the NBA playing well against us.
Oh my goodness! Hey, the Bucks made an acquisition.
How about that?
We'll talk about that. I texted you guys, if this continues at this pace, that's our lead story tomorrow at 5 a.m.
And they're on a heater.
Being on the Bucks.
Streaking.
Yes. We are off and running. The first day of the long, cold winter without professional tackle football is upon us, but we're going to get through it together.
This sucks.
You're listening to The Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
That was boring. That was so boring. Qualifier was way more exciting. That was boring. That was so boring. Qualifier was way more exciting. That was boring. That was so... Qualifier was way more exciting. That was boring. That was so boring.
Douglas with stop and start, get close to the first down as we were preparing for the game, and we kept looking at tape after tape of this Seattle defense. Is what convinced him to take. In the hands, Trevion Henderson trying to get to the sideline, keeps going to the 29, and that will do it. Seattle reigns above them all in the NFL. Seattle reigns above them all in the NFL. Reigns above them all. Seattle reigns above them all. Seattle.
The Huddle continues right here. Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 in Madison, worldwide of the iHeartRadio app, streaming live on the X, Facebook, and YouTubes. We're all basking in the end of the National Football League season. Super Bowl 60 in the books in Santa Clara. We're on to Super Bowl 61, the road to Super Bowl 61. It's beginning right now. It's day one of getting ready for hopefully a Packers appearance in Super Bowl 61.
Well, and we get to start that celebration here today because, Drew, the Four Letter Network has us covered because it is a Disney event, and they are going to Disney the hell out of today because they are doing like a full day's coverage at Disneyland of the super special Super Bowl handoff that happens between Santa Clara, San Francisco, and Los Angeles as the host city for the Super Bowl. So we'll get the first look at all the exciting logos and things like that. And then forget about it for 8 months, because as much as you touched on it, this is the off season. There really are two seasons, just like in some people's world. And just like in Wisconsin, I think there's two seasons in all reality. There's summer or orange barrel season and not orange barrel season.
Yes,
right.
true.
Well, in sports, for some, there's football season and not football season.
True.
And today starts not football season.
Not football.
Which blows. However, we're close enough to knowing that baseball is around the horizon for the greatest of all teases, which is pitchers and catchers reporting in spring training. Because it's just that little bit of taste.
That's right.
To then know we got 6 more weeks.
And then we'll have the diversion of March Madness.
Indeed.
And then
we're getting closer.
For those who celebrate like the NBA playoffs, I don't think it's going to be a thing here this year, but
yeah, that'll be fun viewing. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
A little diversion.
Little NHL playoffs. Yeah.
So the NFL, and again, we're not the halftime show. How do you handle it on our show? People who hated it. People who watched it, liked it. People who went in with an open mind. I'd like to hear from someone who did that. Right.
There's probably 6 people out there.
Probably. I told we said the battle lines were drawn. We'll talk to Adolph about it. I happen to think it was like the most incredible stage performance. It's like the Weeknd tried to do something like that, I think.
Yeah,
but I didn't get that part of it. I didn't know.
Going through COVID, going through the doors and the hallways. That was somewhat interesting.
The different sets and the staging of it was amazing. Like this, and cinematography and the way it was shot was amazing.
It was like
and there was
one
an actual
long,
wedding that
yeah.
took place. These people got married. And the backstory of that, I didn't know until like late last night, was that they invited Bad Bunny to their wedding, and then he invited them to get married at the Super Bowl. I mean,
love that.
How unbelievable is that?
And
What
I
a
was really
great
looking.
fan story.
I was looking forward to like it happening, so people could get their takes out, which everyone did, and then stop talking about it, which
Yeah.
won't happen. But I was like,
no
let's
doubt.
get everyone to get their takes out now. Let's get all my uncles
Pretty
in the group
much.
text to get their opinion now. Let's get everyone telling me how they like the other one, even though they probably didn't know the words to that one. I'm sure a lot of people listen to Kid Rock for the first time yesterday just to make a point. How many people actually listen to that or
Yeah.
Bad Bunny? Let's be honest, it's
Is,
just a
is
concert.
Ba with a bar actually English too? I mean, is that,
I wanted to get back to the football, but then I was like,
The
well,
football
this
wasn't that great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
football wasn't that good at all. It was also
Yeah.
interesting that it was I don't remember a halftime show being somewhat light out still. Like, you know what I mean? It was somewhat, the sunlight was still out.
Yeah.
It was West Coast. I just don't remember that happening in such a long time. That was also pretty
Well,
interesting.
you're
I
going to
thought.
laugh at me for that part of it, Armin. That reminded me a lot of WrestleMania that they had in Santa Clara.
Makes
because
sense, yeah.
A lot of it is generally shot at night, and a lot of the fireworks and the pyrotechnics, all of that looks better
which
when it's pitch black.
Yeah.
And when the Undertaker walks out and he's supposed to rise from the grave, rarely that's at golden hour in the Golden City, and all of a sudden it's like, this doesn't feel right.
And that was the tweet of the night for me regarding the halftime show. Was somebody said, "This is the best halftime show ever performed by a WWE star." And I'm like, oh, that's a home
I
run.
didn't think about that. That's pretty good.
He was
That's pretty
Because
killer.
good.
Benito's WWE, like
Yeah.
you would have thought that would have given him some street cred with people who, flipped
Yeah.
the channel and went to YouTube during the.
Yeah, that audience definitely would not have been the flipping of the crowd as much deal from the internet wrestling community. He was really good in WWE. I don't know. I didn't know any of the words. However, it was a vibe.
It was a vibe.
it was-
Exactly.
I mean,
that
I
is the
was-
word. And I was telling Armin before the show, like, I didn't understand. Like, I'm working on my Spanish. I got maybe 10%
If you didn't know
of the
any
lyrics.
of it, we had no
right?
chance.
I had 10%
Right.
of the lyrics, but it didn't matter to me because it was a vibe. And the opening ceremony of the Olympics, the most chilling moment was Andrea Bocelli
Amazing.
performing Nessun Dorma in Italian in your opera. It's like, that was incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't understand a word, but it was amazing.
Sounded cool.
You can't leave your
And
seat
so
when
you
that
can't,
happens.
but
Yeah.
we're
When he falls through the roof, that was pretty sweet.
that was,
They
although
did
my-
have some good stuff.
I ended up
there.
getting to watch most of it because my wife put the other to bed. The other, our youngest was like, guys, it's Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm
You
staying
guys
up.
got me messed up already. I'm going to sleep.
I know.
Right?
Well,
I got to see the second half. But he was vibing. He had the hand up. He was waving his hands in the air like he just didn't care. But when he fell through the roof,
It's cool.
Benson looked at me like, is he okay?
I
I could tell there was a little moment like, all right, hold on.
Yeah.
That wasn't supposed to happen. No, it was. It was
just
well
for
done.
show. Pretty
It's cool.
cool. But yeah, that was baked in. Now back to the game and the football. If you look at, this is the culmination of the season, culmination of the playoff run, the NFL season 2025 that wrapped up yesterday. You had to give it a letter grade. What is it?
The whole season?
The entirety from the by the way, we
Mm.
did see the Seahawks play the Packers in the preseason. Seemed
Yeah.
like a million years ago, but they did play.
Yeah, they did. Didn't the Packers win?
Yes, they did.
Let's go.
Packers beat
Take that.
Packers beat the champs
Jalen Milrow.
I remember they lost to the Jets too.
in a meaningless game.
It was also back when we actually thought Jalen Milrow might start for the Seahawks at some
That's
some
true.
point during
Man,
the season.
That's true. But
Damn, that's a
But-
great callback. Jalen Milrow, man, I forgot about that.
you can have it's a
worried.
little bit like you can have a great NCAA tournament without a great championship game,
Sure.
right? So if you think about it in those terms, but I would say this is a pretty damn compelling NFL regular season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'd give it an A minus just because the final exam wasn't great.
Yes.
However, Drew, and this is a really nerdy part of it, I loved how all of the playoffs, I don't think there was one playoff game played indoors. In a world
good
that is
one.
as ever
I hadn't thought of that.
changing
Yeah.
in terms of climate control. I don't know that there was a playoff game played indoors, and it was all super compelling.
Thing about it, there were all those, because you look at the season, Philadelphia coming off their Super Bowl season, like they didn't. Kansas City,
What a great soap opera.
great soap opera. Kansas City, their kind of demise, if you will,
The dynasty demise
the
is
dynasty
great.
demise, and now it's like, what's next? And that got me thinking about who's the next Patriots, because if we get a team like the Patriots every year,
Mhm.
that's just going to only make the league more enticing and more intoxicating than it already is.
And
because the fact that you can go worst to first and pick top 4 in the draft and play in the Super Bowl.
And it has, I think, 2-pronged effects on fan bases. One, it truly gives everyone hope, which is true. I mean, it gives everyone hope that they could be that team. So that's the best thing about the NFL right now. I mean, every fan base has the hope and belief that they really could contend, as opposed to other sports. That's the old Bud Selig thing. But the flip side of that is it makes every fan base angry when they watch games, when they watch the teams that win, saying, why can't we be that team? We should be that team.
Adds a lot of urgency.
Coach and a second-year coach, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely right. Now, the one thing is, when you talk about the season I think was really good. I thought this playoffs and maybe the Super Bowl as well, devoid of star power a little bit. That's kind of one thing that I think, you could look back and say, would it be underwhelming in terms of a spectacle? Maybe we'll think of Drake May that way, and who knows down the road, Darnold or some of these other guys. But are any of these guys going to be Hall of Famers?
That's
I'm not sure.
Great point, because it's like, okay, in the NBA, it's a players league, right?
Mm-hmm.
The NFL for a while was coaches and owners league, and then it's a quarterbacks league, and now is it a GM league?
It's part of it, because you
always
have
been
to
a
be
GM
super
league because you got to assemble it. But
yep.
It's spun that way now to where if your GM is good and can be a whiz kid and your cap guy is good, because I just mentioned Buffalo, and it's like they got to be having FOMO to the extreme. But now, as you look forward to them next year, they're in cap prison, and they got to have some.
They got a brand new coach that's never been a head coach before, right?
Yes.
Like, I mean, and this isn't. There were so many parts of Seattle that are compelling for the rest of the league, and how everybody tries to copy and emulate any little bit of it. But you got a dude that's 36 years old or 38 years old. He was 36 years old when he got the job as the head coach of the Seahawks, who never even played college football, right? Like, I mean, just there's a lot of parts where in the midst, I thought last year you were going to get so much more into the Mike Vrabels and Dan Campbell's, and Aaron Glenn was supposed to be a hot name, right? He was going to be great because he's a former player. And then you got this dude who looks like he actually could have taken that job at KMPG that he applied for when he was a coaching intern, right? Like there's a lot of it where you can believe that it's supposed to look this way. And then the Seahawks and Patriots both said, like, there's two different ways to win in the NFL. It does show, though, that, like, if you look at the teams that could go worst to first next year, you start trying to identify the ones that are building up into something. You also have to look at somebody who would possibly be in one of the better divisions and be kind of battle tested. One fan base that needs a little optimism here today. Hey, Minnesota Viking fans, that could be you.
I mean, they are well coached, I guess. Yeah, if their quarterback situation gets better, that's a good point. Yeah,
I'm thinking, like, if I'm a Giants fan, I'm excited.
That's the one you came up with this morning, Drew.
Giants are the team that could go, like,
They feel like an absolute double their win total team.
Yeah, exactly.
New Orleans
that's true.
Would be a worst to first situation.
They got hot late. Yeah.
Everybody
Anybody
loved
but
their
the
quarterback
Jets,
late.
basically.
Yeah, kind of.
Anybody but
right?
the
Like, I mean,
Jets.
even Armin Sari in one of his greatest punching bags on this season, NFL season was Cam Ward, who might be one of the least discussed number one overall picks of all time.
Sure, it was more of that, yeah.
However, they get a new coach, new quarterback, or some new wide receivers, some new weapons, and all of a sudden they could find themselves not 3-14 and 10-7 winning that division, because the AFC South doesn't look all that daunting.
Well, I think it shows you that you load up, you get the right guys in your defensive front, you get the right guys, multiple sets of guys putting pressure all the time on the quarterback and on the run game. It's quite an equalizer. I mean, you can say what you want about what you think Seattle is on either side of the ball, but when they were just dominating up front last night. And on the flip side, you have to be able to protect your quarterback. And that's one thing the Packers struggle to do consistently this year. So if you want to point to one thing and how it affects us, staying healthy up front and protecting, I think.
Yeah, staying healthy is the number one. As our friend Chris and Lodi hitting us up on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line. To win NFL championships, your team needs to be healthy. Get timely breaks. And the players that play to the level of their contracts. And that's a good one. However, like, you look at some of the guys on Seattle last night, you got a lot of guys not making any money as the stars of their team.
Contracts. Yeah. And for them to do it with a big running back injury.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
the running back that wins the MVP, rookie contract. Their best player, rookie contract in Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I mean, didn't it look like it almost looked the Patriots defense had their moments this year, but didn't it look like they weren't prepared, like, for how fast that guy is?
Yeah, when he turns the corner, that's some real speed.
My God.
And his patience to hit the hole. I love that.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, oh my goodness. All right, and then did they get the MVP right? Should it have been the kicker?
I mean, if I would have had that 250-1 at the Potawatomi Sportsbook for Jason Myers, I would have said it should have been the kicker.
I think they
And-
got it right. I think Walker
and-
made the difference.
In an era, that's another thing about the Seahawks. In an era when everybody goes for it on fourth down, take the points.
Taking
Take
the points.
Take the points.
He's watching this game and saying,
Take the points.
that guy is not moving the ball
That's
at
right.
all. We're
Take the
taking
points.
every 3
Take
points
the points.
possible.
And then some of the Seattle defenders in the locker room after were saying, yeah, well, all due respect, but we looked at the film and we knew we had too much for them. We knew that they knew that this was going to happen. Like that's why they came out so hungry. They knew they were going to have a big
Were they
day.
feeling like Dion when he said, I want to make sure everybody has fun this week in Miami? Because I'm from Fort Myers. Everybody's coming to Miami because we know we about to roll these boys. We know we're about to take the Chargers to the woodshed.
That's a good one. 94, yeah.
That was about it. You know who didn't get because of Bad Bunny and the game and stuff? I didn't hear a lot of barbs for Tirico and Collinsworth. The only thing in the first half with Collinsworth took him a while to wrap his head around the fact that it was going to be a defensive battle.
Yeah, he said it a couple times. I think it's going to be there. Well, there have been 4 first downs, Chris. I think so.
Yeah, a little bit overemphasizing that. But.
You guys might be more astute and aware of this than Chris. Chris's lettuce up top get a little darker.
I'm not sure.
My goodness, I didn't think about that, Billy. I'm gonna have to do some deep diving
I have
now.
to go deep dive. I didn't see it.
Trip to the
Let's check it
salon.
out.
Hey,
Oh my Lord!
come on now,
Yeah.
you got to be. You're on TV.
877-794-197.
Super Bowl just for men.
Game balls and kicks coming up after
Oh,
6.
that-
Dolph will be here at 6:30.
Speaking of men.
It's the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison. Drew, Billy, and Armin bringing it to you. We are combing through last evening, the culmination of the National Football League season, Super Bowl 60. They're doing the handoff now. It's Disneyfied.
Oh, God, it's going to be awesome.
SoFi.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Packers will be there. That would be amazing.
Now, and hopefully the field holds up next year at SoFi, and there's not the issues like there was the last time the Super Bowl was there, because I thought the field looked exceptional last night. Again, like the super nerdy aesthetic parts of it, it was a glorious scene last night for football. I mean, there was not a cloud in the sky, 60 degrees. Everyone looked super cool on the sidelines. The broadcast looked good. Outdoor.
Yeah, I
it
agree,
just looked
Billy.
good.
It was a good aesthetic view of football. It was the way, it was one of those things that everyone talks about, the way football should be played and this and that. I don't really go for all that stuff, but I will say this. It is nice to have an outdoor Super Bowl that nobody's going to complain about. Temperate weather, no rain, no snow. People enjoy being outside, obviously. It wasn't Pasadena, but that coastal California vibe.
I was feeling the same thing,
Yeah.
Armin. Obviously, we didn't get the shot of the San Gabriel Mountains.
Yeah, you don't get that.
So we're not going to get full Rose Bowl vibes. However, looked pretty dang good.
Yeah,
A friend of mine was in the stands, lucky enough last night, and I was getting some
Nice.
pictures and some videos from him, and it just looked next level cool on the visuals and the shots, and it does make you think. Like our friend Tim tweeted at us and said, "I'm glad it's over. Now it's time for the Green Bay Packers, as everyone's 0-0, to get back and win Super Bowl 61.
All right, here we go. Let's go. I like that
Mission
energy.
starts now.
I was crunching some numbers the other day, and again, like it got me even before this. Going on Saturday, I was surfing around, looking for stuff to say on this TV show that I do on weekends on WISN 12.
I've
Big
heard
12
of it
Sports
before.
Saturday.
Been on for a while.
Sit next to Dario Melendez. I was looking it up. When the Packers won the Super Bowl with Favre, when Ron Wolf, Reggie White, and crew, it was before your time, Billy. Armin remembers that one, though. You remember the Brett Favre
Do I ever?
Oh, do you ever?
Come on.
Yes.
But Billy's been running through the tape,
And
so
that's when you were in the sweet spot of fandom, too.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
11
Right
years
in
old.
your wheelhouse.
You were right in the wheelhouse. So that's what we say is the sweet spot of sports fandom. All right. So when the Packers went there, it had been 30 years since the Packers won a Super Bowl. And in those 30 years of stumbling through the wilderness, they went to the playoffs 5 times, once in a strike shortened year that gets an asterisk.
Yeah,
right?
that Bart Starr Cardinals
5
win.
playoff
Yeah.
appearances in 30 years.
Mhm.
It's been 15 years since the Packers last won a championship. It'll be 16 when they reconvene. And they've made the playoffs 12 of those 15 years and played in a bunch of championship games.
Yeah.
A little bit
So
what we were
it
talking
is a
about
little
last
bit
week.
different,
Yeah,
right?
much different.
But that hunger in the culture that we're in if you don't win, why play? If you don't win the big prize, why play? To me, it was like, whoa, that was stark. And people, I do like the idea that you go into every season thinking you have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
Well, and not even necessarily just thinking, Drew, damn near expecting it.
Yes.
Or like on the point of,
Which
the
is-
old cliche of Super Bowl or bust. It feels like 20 teams go into the Super Bowl, or fan bases go into the year believing it's Super Bowl or bust.
Absolutely. Yeah.
True. And now you can expand that because we've seen a team go worst to first.
Well, that's
We've
the
seen
thing.
a team. You had, just some of the things like we were talking about Tirico and stuff. Some of the stuff that they pointed out early on, they were trying to introduce the quarterbacks because they thought it was going to be. It ended up being a defensive game, but
Yeah.
you don't cast it that way because
They should have done the pass rushers.
Yeah, you got to establish the quarterbacks. Like
Mhm.
it didn't dawn on me. Sam Darnold, the first USC quarterback to start in a Super Bowl.
Hilarious stat.
That's hard to believe. Isn't
Hilarious
it?
stat.
That was
Wow.
amazing. And Drake May is the second youngest guy to ever start a Super Bowl behind Dan Marino, who also got crushed by the 49ers in his Super Bowl.
That
And
was
he
his only one.
The only one he played in.
And now this is the second Super Bowl that Drake May has ever attended in that stadium.
Yes.
And he somehow played worse than Cam Newton.
Yeah, he had a Carolina jersey on, right? When he was rocking.
he had
for
his
the
Cam
first one.
Newton jersey
Yeah,
on.
Cam Newton. Yeah.
He didn't Keyshawn Nixon a fumble recovery, though.
That's
true.
fair. Yes, he did not
he
do
didn't
that.
make any business decisions. He just wasn't great. But
And he didn't,
But-
he didn't refuse to answer questions after. What was the deal with Cam after the game? And
Oh.
he
He
didn't
had
want
the
to
towel on over his head
He didn't
during
want to
the-
answer.
No, and he said, I am a sore loser.
I'm a sore
and
loser.
if I show you a loser, if you show me a good loser, I'll show
call
you a loser.
That's one of the all-time
Yeah,
moments.
My
Yeah.
favorite quotes.
One of the
all
all-time, like, you either love or you hate Cam type of things.
Yeah.
That was one of the most encapsulating moments of that. Yeah. So
They-
that's true. That's
Yes.
true. The Packers have had more success in between. There's
And-
no question.
And and we talked about it. Now it's a GM league. Both GMs had strong Packers ties with Elliott Wolf and
Big
John
time.
Schneider. John Schneider winning 2 Super Bowls with 2 different coaches and quarterbacks. That's not easy to do.
And I believe
Howie
the
Roseman did
first
that too, didn't he?
ever to do it with not one single player on the roster.
Yes.
Like it's
Yep.
complete
No
flip.
carryover.
And we're gonna get into game balls and kicks to the balls, I know, into the next hour.
Yes.
But I got a couple that, I mean, you want to think of the folks from Seattle that had been a part of this. Does Russell Wilson still feel this effect? Like, is he still feeling this, or has he been so far removed and
if
humbled?
Tom Brady didn't
getting
have a
cut?
dog in the fight, what
man.
did Russell Wilson
Oh
think?
man.
Russell Wilson doesn't even have a wood chip in the fight.
Not
then at
even.
that point. That's not even the mulch outside that he cares
not
about with
even.
Seattle.
Yeah.
I just like you think about it where he's like,
Well,
man, if only I wouldn't have demanded every single dollar and wouldn't have regressed significantly, could I have been Sam Darnold? Right? Like, I wonder how many guys in the league would put themselves and be like, could I be that guy? Could I have stayed there?
You need Denver to win the Super Bowl next year, and you could say, get rid of Russell Wilson, and you're gonna get
Go to the title
measured
game.
for rings. And then he's just got to go. Was it me, Mr. Unlimited?
And New York is just going to be chomping at the
Limited.
bit to get his ass out of there then if that happens.
Oh my goodness. 877-794-1973. Yeah, the game wasn't great, but I thought Collinsworth and Tirico were good. The production was good. The replays, the camera shots.
I don't expect any different from those two, though. At least I personally don't. I always
NBC
think
just
they're good.
feels superior.
They're really
doesn't it?
good. And in a day they've been busy all day with the Olympics coverage and going back and forth. And
they
it's been pretty
replaced
good.
a legend because Fred Gaudelli was their longtime guy calling the shots, producer.
Producer, yeah.
I didn't realize
and
that.
and he's retired. So this was they were without him, so they ushered in a new era. And I did think Collinsworth was calling out like Drake May, and
he was doing a good job of it. Yeah.
Sam Darnold, he exorcised the demons and no longer will be known for seeing ghosts. But Drake May saw some ghosts.
Drake May saw some ghosts.
He saw like a whole horror movie of ghosts.
You see it from the end zone, and there are plays to be made. There's a reason why Stafford and the Rams were able to put up 27 against the Seahawks. But man, you watch this team in Seattle, you see a lot of pressure up front. You didn't see anybody pulling up like Rashawn Gary. So we do need to get a little bit younger in the edge rusher department.
Yes.
I thought we were going to see the first edge rusher MVP since Von Miller in that stadium. Derek Hall, I thought, was going to be in the conversation for it with a strip sack, couple of sacks, but everybody was too good for that front.
Yeah.
Ponder during the break, would Mac Jones have been better last night than Drake May for the Patriots?
No.
Okay, well, I didn't have to ponder it, I guess.
did not have to ponder any of that.
No. Oh my goodness. Hey, first hours in the books. Got the sleep out of our eyes. Shooting shirts off. Let's get it. It's the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Top of the morning, Wisconsin. Welcome into the Huddle. Broadcasting live. Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, iHeartRadio app, YouTube, X, and Facebook. Drew, Billy, and Armin on the day after Super Bowl 60. It's Game Balls and Kicks to the Balls Monday.
Talking.
Let's get them. 877-794-1973 gets you to the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Billy's cracking the knuckles.
I'm
He's ready
excited
to
for
go.
this. I'm excited for
Ready
this
to go.
one.
Always
Game
a banger
balls
on a Monday.
and kicks to the balls.
Yeah.
You can do commercials. You can do commentators. You can do pregame show, postgame show, halftime show, whatever your game ball may be, whatever you desire to put into the universe. Now, you know the game ball ceremony. You're standing in the locker room. You're surrounded by half-dressed people and underwear and towels, and you get to bestow a game ball for a job well done. And that's what this today. That's this. Mike Tirico's call.
Tirico with the call, right?
Tirico with the call. Now, conversely,
smoke in this locker room.
the kick to the balls today is this.
Today's kick to the balls. That was Todd Richards, NBC Olympics broadcaster and former snowboarder, on a hot mic during a break, talking about how boring the Big Air was. I think the snowboard Big Air final is so boring. So there you
Really?
go. I thought that was funny.
Dang, I thought it was pretty good.
He thought the qualifiers were better, and so I mean, maybe I do get this. You know, he's a former snowboarder, and we saw over the weekend Shaun White in his first Olympics not competing. I do get a sense of a little bit of like, you know, these guys just like I'm not competing. It's like, man, these guys can't do it like we used to do it. Like,
saw Shaun White on TV.
Yeah.
He was pretty good last night on TV.
He's doing a great job, but he admitted he's having a tough time not competing and moving to that next stage.
Yeah, he didn't seem like he was having nearly as much fun in the Starbucks as he did on the ski hill when they talked to him during the NFL pregame show yesterday during the Super Bowl. He's like, yeah, this isn't great. Now, I was able to watch a decent amount of the Big Air because the kick to the balls early for me was the fact that we're still waking up at 4:00 during the weekend. However, but worked out well for the Olympics to play this weekend.
It is nice for that, right?
That's true.
Nice for that.
I have a buddy who, when he had his first of two children, he was up for the overnight feedings and stuff. And he's flipping through the channels, and the only thing on was like, you know, Premier League soccer and European soccer. And he had never been a soccer guy, but he was a hockey guy. And he had to watch it because there was nothing else as he's sitting with a screaming, colicky baby.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, the way you attack the goal in soccer is very similar to hockey. I see parallels here. And he got sucked in, and now he's a soccer guy.
He's dialed in. Yes, 100%.
A wide awake at 3 a.m. watching European soccer.
Oh, when my child was born, it was right during the Paris Olympics, which worked out well because there was action in the middle of the night. And my brother-in-law, they had a son about 2 weeks ago, just in time for Milan Winter Olympics. So it's kind of, you threaded the needle with that one. There's no question about it. And you do, it is a pretty interesting, it is a pretty interesting environment and world in the middle of the night when you're trying to figure out what to watch. And now, of course, we stream now, so you can watch anything at any time. True. It's not the same as like having to watch the Time Life musical CD ad from Michael Bolton every night, waking your ass up, you know.
Jefferson Starship. Then you realize then they went to Jefferson Airplane. Then it was just Starship, or was it the other way around? Sorry, I mixed up that 50s
Airplane, Jefferson Starship,
then just Starship, then Starship, because that was a 3 a.m. get back from the bar and where's the remote? Well, it's nowhere. We don't know where it is.
We're locked in.
We're locked in where we're at. Drew, I don't know that there's any bigger kick to the balls if we want to start out here today than one man, Geno Smith.
Oh
my God.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith has to feel the absolute worst this morning because he was so bad, apparently. So bad that not only did your team immediately trade you and then go win the Super Bowl, the team that traded for you, signed you, was good enough to get the number 1 overall pick. I mean, that's a hell of a year for Geno Smith. When he said, I didn't write back to the haters, wrote him off and he didn't write back. I don't know if he's still got a pen and paper because he might want to write an apology. Tough 2025 season and a tough Super Bowl to watch for Geno Smith.
In terms of the FOMO and stuff, Vikings fans get a kick to the huevos today. Not that they need it, but
that's a game ball for me, you know.
Really?
Well, it's positive. It's a positive.
I suppose.
That's John had that one too. Or no, I'm sorry, right here. But it is a kick to the balls for them. Yeah.
All right. Game ball 2, and Billy mentioned before, Devin Witherspoon.
Ooh.
BMFOTF is what is the phrase. Ron Washington,
like
the
that
baseball guy, the baddest on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was him.
And then he became the best on the mic after when he was talking to Kaylee Hartung for like 3 minutes and just ripped an absolute promo out after the game.
He was an absolute stud. Now, okay, Kenneth Walker's the MVP. First running back MVP since Terrell Davis in the Super Bowl we want to forget.
Damn.
28 years ago.
Didn't want to think about that one, but yes. That's hard
rare.
to believe that no running backs won at 6.
And they weren't going to give it to a kicker, but 5 field goals is no joke.
No, a Super Bowl record. You definitely
And-
would have been in the conversation.
And didn't that guy set the record for points now in the totality of the season, including playoffs? Like I think the highest scoring single season. I think he beat LT
like
or
that.
something.
That sounds right. I do remember. I do
he
think
was
I
in
heard
the
that
mix,
one.
but
Yeah.
I think if you count the playoffs and stuff, he scored more points than LaDainian Tomlinson did. So.
Drew,
Wow.
it's tough when you look at the Seattle defense because I thought the same thing. Like, and not to diminish what Kenneth Walker was, because he was definitely the only offense in the entire game. But you did think like they got to give it to somebody on this Seattle defense, right? Like it's got to be somebody on the Seattle defense. But similar to last year in New Orleans when Philadelphia just beat the piss out of Kansas City, like you just kept looking like, do we give it to Milton Williams because he had 2 sacks or Josh Sweat? I mean, Cooper DeJean had a pick 6, but it feels like the most forgotten touchdown in the entire Super Bowl.
True.
It was such a drumming that you could have given it to 2 or 3 defensive players. But Devin Witherspoon, those blitzes that he was coming off the edge with were next level. And for a group that, you know, their cornerback room is littered with top day 1, day 2 picks. Kobe Bryant, Cincinnati, one of Luke Fickell's guys.
Kobe.
They've brought a bunch of those guys together.
Really good.
And now they're all kind of hitting that ascent right there 3-4 years in the league all at the same time.
Game balls and kicks, 877-794-1973. Random thought, off topic slightly.
Let me hear it.
Game ball to the college football playoff.
Ooh,
CFP.
yeah. Good one.
Hit it, Armin.
Sorry, so there was a lot called. That was a game or a kick? I'm sorry.
That
I
was a
reading
game
some-
ball.
That was a
Game
game ball.
ball.
Sorry. Reading some
That's it.
text there, yeah. Got
Indiana
distracted.
Miami game was what a championship game you like to see, as
Big
opposed
time,
to what we
yes.
saw last night.
Yeah, well, in the game Miami and Indiana had, you thought it was going to be so much more lopsided like this, and then all of a sudden Miami was able to do exactly what they needed, get a couple of drives together. May was just so bad. Like it's tough to watch when you have such a good season and it will get somewhat forgotten. But this is going to be a tough tape.
This is where, and he's in the unique spot of entering his 3rd season. Like you talk about sophomore slumps. Dude went to the Super Bowl. As
pretty
a
good
sophomore.
slump. Yeah. That's a hell of a
Now
slump.
he's got to dig out from this. And you went to a Super Bowl and people are questioning your acumen and your wherewithal
Right.
and whether you're the dude or not. After taking your team to the Super Bowl, you got to prove yourself next year that it wasn't a fluke and that you're,
bonkers, ain't
it's
it?
a really
And
weird
nearly winning
situation.
MVP. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
like
it's
one vote away
crazy.
from the MVP, and now people are like, I wonder if this guy sucks or not.
A little
Yeah.
Carson Wentz vibe to it. I mean, he had a year like that, and he got hurt, but might have won MVP. And then it would seem like after that, he was never the same. I'm not saying who knows what type of career Drake May is going to have. It could be a great one. It could be a pedestrian one. We don't really know.
Yeah.
But he might be. But it could be a similar situation like that.
Tough thing about that is, Armin, like Wentz's team ended up winning 3 games without him to win the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah.
I don't know that New England was scoring, 3 points in any of these playoff games without May, especially the way he ran the ball in Denver, the way he ran the ball against Los Angeles. He played 3 really, really good defenses. They just couldn't be able to get anything going. And in those games, they got what they were trying to do last night and just didn't get. They were so close.
Yeah.
They needed one of those batted balls to get intercepted. Splain was seconds away. And it's why this game ball goes to Christian Gonzalez.
He was.
I mean, if it wasn't for Gonzalez, that game is 30-0
Yeah.
maybe at halftime. And instead, I mean, Collinsworth's like, and almost intercepts this one. I'm like, well, he's got 2 hands on the ball that's in the end zone when they're trying to get it to Smith and Jigba. If he squeezes that, it's a totally different game, you would think. Maybe New England still doesn't get another first down.
Yeah.
But he was the only reason why that game was close for 2.5 quarters and gave me a little bit of life, Drew, on that 150-1 Super Bowl MVP ticket.
If Drake May's got to do some digging out, kick to the balls to Will Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
You expect a little more out of a 4th overall pick, hitting the rookie wall.
tough,
the
dude.
biggest stage
That's
that there is.
tough.
Give up 14 pressures. I mean, not since, again, this is old guy reference, Billy, is before your time, even before Armin's time as a fan, probably, but Tony Mandarich comes to mind as a guy who just got ragdolled. Oof. How do you bounce back from that game?
Well, you probably
You
go
play
to guard. Yeah, you go to guard. Like it seemed like that was where they thought he might go in the beginning of the year. But when you draft somebody 4th overall to play guard, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
As brilliant as Elliot Wolf was in constructing this roster, ooh, boy, that's when you're looking at going, whoa.
But Tony became a productive guard for the Colts, so sometimes that's the best you can get. Sometimes that's just the best you can make out of that meat. Like, this meatloaf didn't turn out right, but I'm just going to eat it, you know? So.
Yeah, and I also will say, though, I'm not throwing Will Campbell out with the rest of the bathwater, because I also watched most of the Rams front get kind of run through a decent amount, and he faced a lot of the best pass rushers. But, you know, when you're unable to trust your backside, that's going to be tough. But like we mentioned, the Witherspoon blitzes, every one of those comes the exact same way. And Collinsworth was phenomenal at calling it out last night. He's like, they've brought the same blitz 4 times. They've got home 4 times because they've never clearly had the pressure package look to be able to get out of it. Somebody's got to be able to identify that. And generally that's the, runner up for MVP behind, which is going to be a difficult one. Game ball to Derek Hall. I thought he was going to win the MVP. He's got a tremendous story. Was born 21 weeks. At 21 weeks, he was born. Wow. Was pronounced dead at one point in the ICU as a baby, and his mom was kind of told, I don't necessarily know what the likelihood is here. He was a dude that I believe played at Auburn and was a 2nd round pick. He was one of those guys that you kind of fall in love with, Drew, in the draft a couple of years ago. Crazy speed, and then had the story. Goes to Seattle, and not that he didn't do a whole lot, but I think he had like 4 sacks throughout the year or whatever. Just incredible Super Bowl for a remarkable human story.
Hell of a story. Absolutely.
That is amazing. I really didn't know much about that, and then you get into it a little bit on Wikipedia and on reading some articles. That's pretty amazing. That's a remarkable
one of the greatest
story
feats of life,
and faith by his mother.
No doubt.
Yeah, not giving up. So
877-794-1973. All right, so we mentioned Jason Myers did in fact pass LaDainian Tomlinson most points by a player in a single year, regular season and playoffs combined. Wow, 206. Tomlinson had 198 in his MVP season in 06.
My goodness,
that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and they in an era when everybody goes for it on 4th down. They took the points a lot. Seattle's special teams game ball because Dixon pinned him back. He was
awesome.
Yeah, channeling his Danny Whalen.
Good
pinned
stuff.
Him back with 7 punts.
And I thought Shaheed was going to be the special teams player of the game, and he wasn't, right? Like, I mean, they kind of kept him under wraps, did New England, but Dixon, the one punt that he has at the 5, Drew, it felt like an absolute dagger, and I think it's 6-0 in the second quarter.
When your defense is like that and you're pinning them back in bad field position, giddy up. Like that was, talk about complimentary football.
That's as good of complimentary football as you can have. What about this? And I imagine we'll see a couple of these maybe coming in from the 920. Game ball to the Tritons. Game ball to Notre Dame Academy in Green Bay. Now, John Schneider from Notre Dame Academy, a graduate there, in the obvious general manager of the Seattle Seahawks. However, also the home and the high school of one Elliot Wolf. So they couldn't lose last night. They were like the mom with the split jersey. So they had maybe one logo on one side, one on the other.
The Kelsey mom in that one moment.
Yeah. Or maybe you just have like 2 t-shirts on, and then after the game you just rip off the one and be able to celebrate that way. That's a hell of an accomplishment, and one feat that I would like to see another high school in the country be able to accomplish.
Good one. All right, I'm going to do a kick to the balls. Lest we not forget, over the weekend, a couple of one important college basketball game for Wisconsin. I want to say Marquette's is important because they're not really in a tournament mix, even though it was National Marquette Day. But kick to the balls for the officiating at the end of the Badgers Indiana game. I have to mention it. It was absolutely
Which call was worse?
two atrocious
The
calls in
offensive foul
overtime.
or the foul on Blackwell at the end? Like they were both atrocious.
Game ball to Greg Gard. Sorry to interrupt you. And getting his boys ready to steal one on the road in a tough environment when they were down all game. Probably should have won and had to endure two of the toughest calls and take an L because these officials don't have their job. In my opinion, that's two terrible calls down the stretch.
They were bad. And Drew, I don't know. Greg said it the right way. He's like, I just haven't seen it. I don't know that I've ever seen an offensive foul when the other team is trying to foul. Like I don't know that I've ever seen that. And like they tried to say it was because of the chicken wing. Well, yeah, because he's getting run into and run through.
It wasn't even close. They were atrocious calls.
And a game ball. Well, I guess either it's however you look at it, a game or a kick to the ball to the Indiana fans who found my tweet and were getting to my mentions. But congrats to them for hey. You know, they always find a way to cape up and have the pitchforks out when it comes to Indiana basketball to defend the calls.
Oh, see, you were seeing totally different Indiana supporters than I did. Like,
Well,
I saw Big Cat going back with somebody else that was mad about a call earlier in the game. He's like, what I said, the officials were amazing all game. It was tremendous. I saw Dockich say in the middle of the game, he's like, the hall of calls is coming. And like the Indiana's about to get a run of calls. And all of a sudden he's like, hey, I got to go take a shower after that win. But you'll take it whenever you need it. They won't remember it in March. I saw a lot of people realize that those were pretty cheeks.
You want to dunk on people on X? Game ball to Ernest Jones.
Ooh.
Puka Nakua watching the Super Bowl wherever he was, put the crying, laughing emoji and said Sam Darnold. Like crying, laughing Sam Darnold. Ernest Jones replied, quote tweeted that and said, ain't you at home, goofy ass?
Damn.
Goofy ass is one of the toughest burns.
Ass.
When you get a goofy ass, that's one of the toughest burns
Goofy
to get.
Ass.
It's a good Trey Crosby one. He's always good.
He does fire in a good goofy ass.
I love that. That's good stuff. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
now
Puka likes to talk, doesn't he? You know?
For sure.
Yeah.
He's fun too. Actually, I think I saw him in the crowd. My buddy took a picture, and either that or it was his doppelganger hanging out in section 413. I mentioned the high school ones that you might find one that's cooler. What about a game ball to Centennial High School in Roswell, Georgia? Now, not only the high school and place that started the coaching lineage for Mike McDonald when he went and coached high school football when he was at Georgia. It's also where he went to school with the lady that handed him the Lombardi Trophy last night in Maria Taylor. Old high school classmates on the biggest stage. Mike McDonald and Maria Taylor been knowing each other since 2005.
That's awesome.
As Taylor becomes the first black woman to ever host the postgame ceremony and give out the trophy, she hands it to a high school classmate.
That's pretty cool.
I think it's super cool. I think it's so fun to think about how well they knew each other in high school and how well they didn't know each other, because everyone's like, wow, old high school classmates. It must be a super cool moment. Or maybe they never talked and weren't friends. Like, you never know. I'm so curious to know about all that stuff.
You think he was friend zoned?
I don't know that he was maybe friend zoned, or maybe just not interested in that way, or maybe didn't pursue that way, or maybe not in the same circles. Was it a big high school? Was it a small class? Was it one of these huge college campus ones? Those type of things just totally like
but if
engross me.
You know, athletics, you know,
probably involved, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I bet they were at the same parties.
She was a D1 basketball player. I think she kind of ran a decent amount of the place. He was probably around.
I would guess. Yeah. All right. Hey, we've reached halftime. Dolphin's going to join us. He's back from boots on the beach.
He's back to the
tan,
cold.
rested, and ready. Scott Dolphin from the country station down the hall will pop in next. We'll get his thoughts about things. And I got to tell you guys about, since Armin mentioned National Marquette Day, my encounter.
Can't wait for this.
With your, I don't want to stereotype. I don't want to paint with a broad brush. But when I think of Marquette students who had a couple oils in them, I encountered one in a big way on Saturday night.
Hey, man, you see quarter beers at Caffrey's. I will wait for Drew's story, Bill.
Dolph is coming in next. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Back on the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin, Drew, Billy, Armin, and our special guest, our halftime reporter, Scott Dolphin from the country station down the hall.
What's up, Drew?
Welcome back.
Boys?
Back from the Dominican.
Yes.
Back from Boots on the Beach, a successful mission.
Very much so. 200 and just shy of 230 people went with us. A lot of those were former sunburn bowlers.
Yeah,
I like that.
I saw the crew there a little bit.
Yeah, we
so.
did. I would say,
Yeah.
I don't know how many total, but I'll bet you there was between maybe 15 and 20.
And how'd you manage the cliques? Because I know how it is on these trips. It's like a high school. There's cliques here. There's these guys that hung out together. There's the five that we've been here last year. We know each other already. We're already friends. Now, there wasn't any of that, was there?
If there were issues, Armin, I did not hear from anybody.
See, one of
Above the fray.
my biggest jobs is always trying to unite all the friend groups and get everyone to know, hey, you know this guy? Hey, this
Is that a
guy's from here."
self-appointed job, or
Well, that's why he's prom king.
Probably, yeah. It probably is. I was trying to use
prom
it
king.
is. It's part of my instinct to try and unite and bring them together. And sometimes, you know what? People just want to hang out with who they want to hang out with, and I have to understand that sometimes.
Yeah, at
I
the
have to be part of
pool,
that.
and stuff, everybody's kind of doing their own thing because it's a all-inclusive resort. There's like 3 or 4 pools. But during our show in the morning and the concerts, the stuff we did with the country acts at night, everybody was one big happy family.
That's the
in
key.
same space.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's everyone comes together for those moments.
Armin wants the vibe to be like the last 6 weeks of high school when
Oh
the
my
cliques
God.
disappear
Yes,
and everybody's like
Drew.
united.
Yes.
Yes, it's
It's
like,
so
we should have
true.
been like this all 4 years.
Where
Or like
everybody's
the-
sitting around the campfire being like, man, I'm
Campfire.
gonna miss you guys so much,
Last night at summer camp,
It's like a Brat Pack movie.
Yes, very much so.
It's so
These are the
true.
good old days.
It's just a big thing for I don't know what it is, but
Love it.
I'm glad you're back, and congrats on what it
Now-
seemed like another great trip for you guys.
It was.
So,
Thank you, Armin. Yeah, it was very cool. And, every year it never ceases to amaze me that
Did
people
you
want to go on this
sample
trip
a
with us.
shot of the shots we did there, Mama Juana?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't gotten better.
That is the local, that's the Dominican, their national pride of the shot.
Mama Juana.
I thought, I think Malort is probably the worst tasting booze I've ever had.
Especially because it's a Chicago thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Mama Juana is probably a close second. It's just
Oh,
kind of
s-
cough syrupy. It's just
in
not.
that
It's-
realm.
It's
What about
not good.
Goldschlager?
Mama
yeah.
Juana is rum, red wine, honey, and a mix of tree barks, herbs, and roots.
Jesus.
Sweet,
I'll have a Coca-Cola.
spicy
How about that?
liqueur.
It's sacred in the Dominican.
Yeah, it's like port wine and
That's 'cause
rum
nobody
and honey
wants it.
and like the roots.
Yeah.
And I was driving in and we were we had some
Yeah,
our
Billy.
cab driver had like his own, like, you guys want to try my, like they make their own, you
Oh,
can get
that's
it at the
awesome.
store, people
Yes.
make their own. So of course we did, and he did a shot with us while he was driving us. Our cab driver
Oh my
was doing
God,
a shot
that's
with
funny.
Of
us.
course. Yeah.
So it's Malort and moonshine. Is basically what
yes,
it sounds
yes.
like.
it's basically
And
what
that's
they
awesome.
It's what
Vic's
they
44.
Now
It's what they give you on your 21st birthday to be funny.
the drink
Like, you know.
in Costa Rica, the drink is the chili wado, and wado is like the when they scrape the barrels from the rum, they get this byproduct,
Yeah.
and it's called wado. It's like cheap rum, and then the chili wado is basically it tastes very much like a Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I was okay with the chili wado
Chili wado is
last
good.
year when we were there.
Yeah.
The Mama Juana, I don't think I can ever get used to.
No.
But I'll say this: the Dominican people are the best, man. They're
Yeah.
so cool. They're
Yes.
always in a good mood. At least the ones we met at the resort. And I love the fact that that country is more baseball crazy than this one is. You walk around, and if you're wearing any Brewers gear at all, Milwaukee.
So
and
fired up.
They
Love
want to
that.
talk to you.
Yes,
They want to
I-
come up and talk baseball.
I remember wearing
Yes.
my Brewer stuff there, and I don't remember who it was, but one of the ladies that was bartending told me how her son was in one of the junior academies, and that Willie Adames was her favorite player, and
Oh.
she just wanted to talk baseball. And I'm like, this is great. We got true baseball fans down here. It is pretty cool.
The
So-
Brewers have that amazing complex down there. I wish we could have taken a field trip there, but it was like 2.5 hours away. It was near Santo Domingo. Have you ever been down there for that, Drew?
I've never been to the
That
complex. No, I heard it's very nice.
Looks
Very
incredible.
nice.
Yeah.
All right, Dolph, what was it like for you watching the Super Bowl?
Probably like everybody else, you kept waiting for something to happen early. It was just kind of a stink. I felt bad for the New England defense because they were really playing well in that first half. But I mean, after a while, it just breaks your spirit.
Was
when your
that not
offense
one of the
isn't doing
best
anything.
shots? I can't wait for the NFL films mic'd up of the sideline when May fumbles and all of the defensive players just heads go. Get him.
Yeah, that's what else can you do? It's just a spirit breaker. But people said it all this year. Well, the Seahawks are a good team; they're a playoff team. But Sam Darnold's going to be the Trump factor here. Is he going to be throwing 4 picks in the big? Last night, It was the Kenneth Walker show, and that damn defense
That
is
defense.
super.
Billy, they just showed a stat. 40% of New England's plays went for 0 or negative yards.
That's
Wow.
disgusting.
Terrible.
Like that's
And-
like your dad playing Madden for the first time and you almost start feeling bad for him.
He's hitting the button that just get the guys in the back
Immediately
linebackers.
throwing the pass to the
Yeah.
just rapid tapping X.
Yeah, or the linebackers trying to bat balls in the air when it's a running play.
Yeah, right.
He's in the
No,
run.
no shot at
Totally
any
bad.
of it.
Totally bad. Do you think this is going to be a Super Bowl that's memorable, Doll? People were discussing that at my event. It's like we won't remember this Super Bowl. It's nothing.
They'll remember
great
Bad
happened.
Bunny more than the Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the halftime show obviously will get way more talk. No, I don't.
Is
think
it
so.
bad enough to be like memorable? Like, because we had somebody ask us, is the worst Super Bowl that you've seen? I'm like, I don't know. I did watch that Patriot Rams one, which was like
Patriots.
13-3.
Yeah,
I watched Seattle and Denver, which was like
It's the worst
43-8.
Super Bowl since last year's.
Yeah,
Or
right.
The Ravens one that the lights went off was the most memorable one.
That was a good
Well,
game.
and it was
But that
more,
was actually a good game, right?
Yeah,
right.
game one.
and it was more competitive when the Broncos were getting blown out by everybody. What was it? 55-10 one year against the 49ers. But yeah, overall, it's not going to rank top
At
20.
least we got points at the end, but they all felt like garbage points.
I was already sleeping. I missed. I
There
was
were-
really surprised when I saw New
30
England
points
scored.
in the fourth quarter of a terrible game.
Yeah, I think
Combined 30 points.
yeah, and last year I think it was like 25 or whatever, and it was 34-0 at some point. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's a weird oddity because in my lifetime, all of these games become the best games of the season. And instead, there's been like 4 or 5 now sprinkled in back-to-back years where it's kind of been a clunker. You start seeing it, though, that there's a little bit of a difference. Dolph, we were saying it earlier. It feels like the best teams are on the NFC side. The best quarterbacks are all on the AFC side. And maybe it just culminates when you see the team go up against that quarterback that almost won the MVP.
Yeah. Well, we saw that yesterday. The defense wins championships, right? They always said that. For me, the Super Bowl Sunday is just about the emotion you get. It doesn't really matter who's playing for 99% of the country. But when you're watching, you watch the flyover, and then God, you get a little misty eyed, and you get that lump in your throat, and just from then on, it's such a special event. The team intros, having superstars there. I mean, it's not a common man's game anymore. You're not going to go watch with your son.
It's one of the few monocultural events. Like every income strata,
Really
it's
does.
not for. It's like there aren't many of those. Aren't really any of those anymore. Really, the
a good point.
Olympics maybe. Okay, everybody can. But even the Olympics, like,
It doesn't compare to Americans to Super Bowl Sunday. I don't
No,
think.
I don't think
mean,
so.
I like it, but it's not like
Olympics,
it's every 4 years. Too. So to
it's
me,
funny
it's like
because the biggest one in the world is the World Cup, which is going to be here in North America.
sure.
But it's like even that. In the States, we like what we like. That's the Super Bowl.
And vice versa. Europeans, South Americans, there's a lot of people that love the NFL, and they'll tune into this game.
For sure.
And
And,
that's
that
what-
was the thing. And again, with Bad Bunny, like the NFL knew what they were doing. Like they were trying to get eyeballs, and they're trying to go to Rio. They're trying to open up other markets and stuff. That's what they were doing.
Most streamed artist in the world.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes perfect sense.
Follow the money.
Despite the controversy, the NFL doesn't care about your feelings when
Yeah.
when it comes to that. They're out to protect the shield and make money for this.
We talked about it earlier, though, because Armin's a big Olympics guy. The lump in your throat moment of the opening ceremonies was Andrea Bocelli singing Nessun Dorma in Italian. I didn't know a single word, but it was cool as hell.
It was cool.
So I went into I know a little Spanish, but Bad Bunny's thing, it was all about the cinematography and the show, the staging, and the fact that they could do that in 12 minutes and get that set on there and make
Flip it around
a
like that.
compelling TV show, 12 minutes of compelling TV in the middle of a halftime. Like it's incredible.
Brought an entire sugarcane field.
Yeah.
Did you feel for the Olympics at all when you see the breaking news and we won gold in figure skating and downhill, and I'm thinking, damn, this is a bad day to be a United States Olympian because you're not getting your glory.
That's right. I just saw it, and this stunned me that the Super Bowl we've been talking about, Super Bowl 61, the one that we hope the Packers are in, all due respect, Dolph, at SoFi Stadium, that's going to be on Valentine's Day next year.
Wow, crazy idea, huh? Valentine's Day, Super Bowl,
Valentine's
quarterback
Day,
named
Super
Love.
Bowl.
Come on now, Billy,
come
let's
on.
go.
Let's go.
That's a game ball, Billy, for
I mean,
you.
I don't
right,
know.
That one.
Are you
Let's
kidding?
go. Let's
Like-
go, baby.
You might as well just make the reservations now. 2027 Super Bowl, Valentine's night. Jordan Love hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. Packers
Gonna have
14
to
to
push
1.
back
gonna win,
boots on the
yes.
beach.
Yeah,
I better push it back.
Well, you guys probably have too. We've been on boots on the beach when the Super Bowls happened before. And they usually do a nice job of putting up a big.
Yeah, we did
screen in
watch
the
one
central
at
square.
One time I
Bowl,
was
yeah.
at that. One time it happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did watch a Super Bowl at Sunburn.
I
Bowl.
wasn't.
I don't remember where it was. I was on the
Oh, you didn't
travel
get that
roster
one?
back then. Yeah. I was on the travel roster.
You know,
But yeah, next year it's like 14.
Well, and Drew, I've started doing more of that because you start to understand like where you can start pinpointing. All right, I got to make it 6 months, and I can get to this day, and I get to watch football. Like now, I'm already
Billy's on
starting
the
that
calendar.
countdown.
Yeah.
I put that countdown on my phone. It's 189 days until I get to watch a football game.
what about the calendar to the combine? That's next, just a few short weeks away.
Yeah, the underwear Olympics just isn't going to do it.
Are you
I,
serious? You're not a fan, Billy? I'm surprised to hear
No,
you
I didn't
say that.
I didn't say that. It's not the same.
It doesn't,
Like, it doesn't do it.
scratch the itch.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I like the draft, and maybe we'll be doing a draft show. I don't know, because we're doing the show in the morning and basically doing a draft show. But like you have a time for that, and right now I'm in the sulking in. I'm sad that football is over, and now I'm going to have to deal with these other sports.
See,
And
that's
it will
the
be
thing.
a deal with.
That's the thing, Billy, and I can never get with you on because I like all sports, so I'm looking forward to the next one. But for Billy, I know it's hard for you to mourn the football season right away. As many times as I tell Billy, we're only 4.5 weeks from Selection Sunday. It doesn't do it for you.
No,
big guy.
it doesn't. No, see, now it does for me.
But
I
for
get
me, it
excited
does.
about college
Yeah.
basketball like you do, Armin. So I am looking forward to the next chapter, which is college hoops really amping up now that we're getting into the middle of February.
I think, Billy, once you sit down at the restaurant and the menu's in front of you, you're like, all right, it's here. We're ready to eat. But you're not looking forward to going to that restaurant like for a month ahead of time. Is that a fair way to look at it?
You're gonna make me do this. Like
No, you can be you.
To
It's all
me, it's
good.
the most overrated sporting event in the world.
No,
in the
my
NCAA
gosh, I
tournament.
can't believe you.
But
with your take.
I appreciate it. I like it. I love watching it. But no, but people act like it is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Why? So you can watch Furman? Like, I'm sorry. I don't
Yes.
like watching Mercer enough to
Here's the
think
deal.
that it's the greatest thing in
You
the world.
can watch Furman take down Duke, possibly. That's what makes it such a special
I
event.
totally could. And I could also maybe watch my 2-year-old listen to me when I say, don't push your brother over when he's standing at the couch. It might happen once every 48 times,
Oh, man.
but likely I'm going to be sitting here saying, great, now I got to get up, pick the crying kid up, and now we got to go back here and watch it in the
Love
3
this.
o'clock window and lose again.
See, you're never going to see Furman take
Your
down
take.
Ohio State or Georgia, but there's a chance.
They beat Virginia.
Yeah, no, Dolph, thank you. Thank you. Because it's the same people that told me, you know what we need? 5 teams from the group of 5 into the college football playoff.
No, that was a mistake.
That'll make it so much better as
That was
well.
a mistake. But college
Everybody's gotta get a
basketball
chance.
is different. Don't you agree? Because every once in a while,
Yeah.
once in a blue moon, you get that 15-2 up.
Maryland,
do,
Baltimore
yeah.
County.
It's awesome.
You
Yeah,
get it more
awesome. How
than
about
more
that?
than not. You get it. The biggest complaint people have is there's too much chaos now. So I don't know.
I'm
Okay,
okay with
everyone's
it.
got their taste. That's okay. Everyone goes to the buffet.
Too much chaos when the team won by double digits every single game of the
Well,
championship. What was that,
look
2
at-
years ago?
That did happen. Yeah, I mean that was the champion. But in the midst of that journey, we got some wild stuff
And
happening.
the NFL story we just watched unfold yesterday. We had a worst to first team.
Yeah.
Had a top 4 draft pick, play in the Super Bowl and get their ass kicked, but they played in the Super Bowl.
Play in the Super Bowl.
So a
yep.
team that was 10-7 with Geno Smith that no one had on their radar of going to the Super Bowl with a second-year coach.
Oh,
Go to the-
we saw a lot of 30-yard
somehow-
field goals last night.
that
don't worry.
somehow Drew at one point had worse Super Bowl odds than the Arizona Cardinals.
How about that?
At one point, the Cardinals had shorter odds to win the
Pretty
title than the
impressive.
It was a
Seahawks.
team that really wanted Geno Smith back, but it just wasn't meant to be. So they rolled the dice on Sam Darnold. I didn't realize this until I read it yesterday. Every playoff game was an outdoor. Despite the
Yeah.
fact that everybody's going dome,
Isn't that awesome?
every playoff game was outside.
Outdoors.
This might be one of the last times that happens. We should appreciate
Damn.
it while we can.
What a
you know?
beautiful night in
And-
Santa Clara,
It
too.
really was.
How many teams have completed the entire playoff run in the expanded playoff era without a turnover? Because Seattle went the entire tournament without a turnover.
Yes. Well, and that
That's
being
the stat.
And that being Darnold's thing, Drew, you're right. Because there's always a turning point in a season, right? And you can pinpoint this game or that game. He throws 4 picks against the Rams the first time they play in Los Angeles. They lose it by like 2. They damn near win it on like a 60-some yard field goal. Remember, we were watching doing Packers OT. Well, I think he's turned the ball over 6 times since week 12, which was the next week. They beat the Rams twice in that run, and they haven't lost.
You have to appreciate what the guy has done because remember, he was just kind of a punchline early in his career with seeing ghosts and all that. And then last night, you thought maybe the way the Patriots are playing D, they might get to him. He had the overthrow. It was at Smith and Jigma where it would have been six easy. But then after that, he settled in and let his running game do the rest.
Was dialed in late.
Big
It
time.
was, absolutely. Now winter's underway.
Winter
You're
is
back
coming.
from boots on the
Winter's
beach, like
here.
winter's here. It's the long,
Wait.
cold winter. Pitchers and catchers reporting.
But
this
it's going to
week.
get warmer this week.
I was gonna say we're almost gonna get above freezing.
It's
now.
tropical.
I'm going to Mexico on Saturday, so.
Oh, well, there you go. All
Very
right.
nice.
Yeah, this show starts our
in the
grapefruit reports next week.
Yes.
Next week, this
It's
show
gonna be
emanates from the
live from
grapefruit
Phoenix.
league.
Or avocado
From-
report
yeah.
in Drew's
In
case.
my case, yes.
Yes.
Indeed. Tacos and tequila.
Love that.
Dolph, great to have you back as
All
our
right, fellas.
halftime correspondent.
be back.
Yes, indeed. Scott Dolphin from the country station down the hall, continuing game balls and kicks to the balls, reacting to Super Bowl 60. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Rolling along the post-Super Bowl edition of the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armin bringing it to you. 877-794-1973, NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Game balls and kicks the balls Monday after the Super Bowl. But first, William?
We get to debut and celebrate with you a new feature and a new daily spot here on the show as we get into the 7 o'clock hour after we hit halftime. Sometimes a hero's welcome back to the second half is how we start this up. And it's with our friends from Current Electric, home of the superheroes, presenting our Current Electric superhero of the day. Now, we might know some things about sports. You might not always agree with our takes. However, the one thing we don't mess around with is things that we don't necessarily know a lot about. That would be, for me, electrical issues. I can switch the lights on and off. I can maybe change a light bulb. After that, I call the superheroes from Current Electric because they're the companies that you want to choose from. They are going to be able to help you with your electrical services in your home or your business. If you give Current Electric a chance to earn your trust and earn your business, you will be back. Go to callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com for more information. Current Electric, home of the superheroes, right here in Wisconsin, right in the Menominee Falls area, Drew? Tosa area. I know
my stepmom and sister worked there for a time.
And they're
good shop, good guys,
tremendous people, and they're doing great work. And they're superheroes for when you need somebody. And sometimes, Drew, you don't necessarily know when you need somebody to be your superhero.
Well, whenever it's something electrical's involved, I need somebody.
I need somebody too, right? And this was an electrical moment throughout the weekend, and not a whole lot of times are people going to feel bad for Bill Belichick in the world, right? But he's had a week. True. He finds out he's not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, realizes that he's still the head coach at North Carolina, and I don't believe got one single interview for an NFL job, as he's still just 13 wins away from the all-time wins record in the NFL. But he needed a superhero, and sometimes it's the ones that love you the most, Drew. And that was his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, who reportedly they had broken up during the week. There were some internet rumblings that the two had separated. They had a tiff. Well, she had a tiff and a T-shirt. And at the Duke Carolina game, not Wisconsinite and Menominee Falls legend Seth Trimble stealing the show with his game winner for the Tar Heels.
That was a crazy game. Great game, by the way.
Great game.
Yeah.
No, it was one Jordan Hudson whose shirt took a little shot at somebody who maybe had a little dealing with Bill not getting into the Hall of Fame. Robert Kraft. You guys remember Robert Kraft's championship daily ritual that he ran with?
Before jumping on his plane to fly to the game?
It was not dancing with Cardi B like he did before this one.
He did this. Yeah, he did this time.
This was somebody else dancing. And it was at the Orchids of Asia Day Spa. The T-shirt in which Jordan Hudson was rocking at the Duke, North Carolina game, front and center next to Bill Belichick.
I bet that rubbed him the wrong way.
Armin! Armin! Oh my! That's a thing of beauty.
Yeah,
right
how about
there.
that? How about her wearing the shirt though? That's a
Now,
bold move.
listen, Jordan has taken a lot of arrows and a lot shot by yours truly, because I think it's one of the funnier things that has happened in sports in the last number of years. I don't even know if you call it transgressions. It's the life that Bill Belichick has lived in the last 5 years. And she has been such a fascinating piece of it. She said, wait, you thought I was done? You thought I was done? Like the superhero in the movie that gets kicked down the mountain and all of a sudden right into the ravine, starts falling down.
The gorge.
Flop. Just skying up in the Orchids of Asia Day Spa T-shirt comes Jordan Hudson.
Everybody needs a hero.
Everyone needs a superhero, and what a superhero moment for Jordan Hudson saving her man.
Yeah,
Bill
that
Belichick
was what was the tweet? That was ride or die. I saw that tweet. Yeah. That's a ride or die moment right there. And you have to wonder what prompted her to have that decision when she woke up and said, I need to get, first of all, have this shirt.
Well, she chose violence.
Yeah.
She woke up and chose violence. She said, I'm going to fight fire with
That's
absolute fire. Drew, do you think that means that there's some actual thought and some belief and some backing in the Bill Belichick circle that Robert Kraft is the reason why he's out of the Pro Football Hall of Fame yet?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because Kraft didn't get in,
He didn't
so
get
that
in
wouldn't
either.
make any
That's the
sense to
thing.
me.
That's
Yeah.
why I don't get this at all, to be honest with
Glad
you.
Kraft
Actually,
didn't get in either.
well,
so.
was there, like her point is that it's his fault, but then like we're gonna throw shade, but he
Well,
didn't get
but
in.
the Hall of Fame thing is one. However, it's really well reported that Kraft was one of the main reasons why Belichick didn't get the Atlanta job a couple of years
Yeah,
ago.
they do have that type of rivalry in that sense. They have that waxy beef. I get it. So maybe this is just a generic, dunking on Kraft, not just for the.
Do we
Hall of Fame
think
thing.
Bill had a dog in the fight yesterday?
That's a great question.
I think he was hard for the Seahawks.
He had a dog, and that dog
but
was in the
didn't he love
Pacific
Vrabel
Northwest.
though? Doesn't he have an
That's true.
affinity for Vrabel?
Does he
Yeah,
love
that's
him-
true.
Does he
Yeah.
love Vrabel more than his own ego?
I mean, Vrabel and
Fair.
McDaniel, like he's got.
That would have been tough,
Yeah,
right?
those
That
are
would be
his
tough
boys.
to do. That would be
Those
tough
are
to
his
cheer
boys.
against.
Yeah.
He'd be a better man than I. Oh, that's a good one.
Then again-
Callcurrent.com for all of your electrical needs.
Yes.
And Malcolm
Callcurrent.com.
Malcolm Butler on TV.
Ballcurrent.com. Yeah.
He was ringing that bell. I like the pregame ceremony with each side. That was fun.
All right. We got more to go through. Game balls and kicks of the balls Monday. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Rolling along the Monday edition of the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armin bringing it to you. 920 Milwaukee, 1070 in Madison, worldwide on the iHeartRadio app, and available for your streaming pleasure on X, Facebook, and YouTube, where plenty of folks are watching us, and we appreciate everybody who got up early with us as we begin to dominate the 7 o'clock hour of the program.
It's going to be a good one. I got a really, really good one. I got a couple of good game balls and kicks to the ball. So I think we're going to be maybe even getting better here.
Game balls and kicks to the balls. Now, you got to tell me, Armin mentioned it in passing before, but we can't let it go unnoticed that the National Marquette Day went off on Saturday.
Yes.
Big day.
Yes.
Big day for
Big
Marquette,
day.
Yes.
Marquetters. Yeah.
What they
Best
honored
holiday
Tom
in sports.
Crean, put his name in the rafters.
Wow, what an amazing moment. I was going to save that for my game, but we'll get
For
to
the
that.
9 year.
Yeah.
Well, it all ties into my story about what begat me on the Saturday evening when I walked into my favorite establishment, the Palapa at St. Paul Fish Market.
Come on now.
Ooh.
Good
it was
spot.
packed to the rafters.
Packed to the rafters always on a weekend, right?
Clearly, with and it's, I hate to paint with a broad brush. I hate the stereotype.
No,
but
roll deep.
it was quite clear that it was a post-game party for National Marquette Day.
A lot of crew necks and sweater vests.
A lot of hats, like a lot of just the vibe
Seltzers.
was, and now Marquette
seltzers
students,
and, obviously,
Marquette students do
they don't
find
drink
their
anymore,
way
so
to the neighborhood, and they generally populate, but it's usually
Marquette
like
students hanging out in the third ward. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta be kidding me.
all
I'm
the time.
shocked. I'm shocked. I'm
Shocked.
kidding. I
Color
know.
me shocked. but it's usually just a sliver of the clientele because it's a
Yes.
great melting pot spot. That's what I love about it.
It's also a little bit of a hike from
can have
campus.
my age, and they
Yeah.
got to go somewhere.
weather
They got to
was
get out.
nice.
They got to branch out, right?
Not if you're not
And
paying for Ubers.
It's a short Uber.
Well, I walk everywhere. I used to
$5
walk it.
Uber.
Well,
But yeah.
I'm thinking Armin wise.
Yeah.
There's no
He'd
way
be
he's
walking.
paying for.
Well, when I
Ubers,
was
yeah.
there, we didn't have Uber even, so
Well, that's true.
we were taking the 30
Good times.
bus.
But
Yeah,
I
sorry.
walk
Taking the city
in
bus
and
to
it's
the club.
packed and clearly there's a lot of people that they maybe started their day there with brunch. Like
Mhm.
I know the bars downtown, Miss Katie's was packed.
Good spot.
I was talking to my pal Kirby over at Goolsby's, and he's like, "Well, no, we probably do better for the Admirals games because we're far away from Fiserv, that we're not as convenient
Sure.
as like the Toms and the places that are right across from Fiserv."
Which is sad because a ham and cheeseburger is the best kind of pregame.
Goolsby's.
There's no
cheese-
comparison.
Goolsby's
Major
wings,
Goolsby's better than any of
Goolsby's.
those other spots. Yeah.
But I stroll into this place, and the first person I encounter is a guy with a baseball hat. He looks like he's in his he's a graduate. Now it wasn't just students; it was grads and recent grads.
Yeah.
Right?
25-year-olds. Yeah.
And the first guy, he sees me, and I walk in with my wife, and he sees me, and he said, "Are you a Packers fan?" And he's with like
Oh,
5
no.
dudes, and I said, "I don't know if I'd say I'm a fan." And they're like, "Oh," and they start to like, and he's like, "Well, what's the deal?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I'm kind of like an employee and adjacent
Yeah.
employee. I do the post game show. I'm like, it's
Yeah. I'm kind of a big deal guy.
cover the Packers
Yeah.
without fear or favor." But then this guy, clearly he's a Bears fan, and he wants to
Oh,
talk
no.
about the Bears.
Oh, no.
So he's like, "What do you think about Ben Johnson?" I said, "I think he's a good coach. He had a good year. I think he's the shirtless stuff, a little bit over the top. The act might wear thin, but the book is still
Fun when
being
you're
written.
winning. Yeah.
We don't know, but the book is still being written." And so I don't know if he liked that answer or not. But then he starts to ask me more about the Bears, and then I hit him with the things that we've been saying. I'm like, "Well, yeah, he beat the Packers twice in 3 games, but they never took a snap on offense with the lead in any of those 3 games, and they might have gotten a little lucky." And I said, so then I spun it around and I said, "Did you major in business?" He said, "Yeah." Clearly he's from like Lake Forest or New Trier.
I get it. Yeah.
I'm like, "Did you major in
Sean's
business?"
guy.
He goes,
One
"Yeah,
of
I
these
got my
guys.
MBA." I said, "All right, well then you're familiar with the concept of regression
Mhm.
to the mean."
I love the way he said it.
And
You're
he's like,
familiar with the
"Yeah, oh
concept.
yeah." And then I'm like, "Okay, so when the turnover thing flips and when the Bears don't win 7 games when they're trailing with 2 minutes left, we'll have this conversation a year from now, and then you can ask me, and we'll revisit this."
Yeah.
And his friends, like, who were like, he was with 5, 3, it was a group of like 5 dudes, and 3 of them were Packers fans and 2 of them were Bears fans. And you'll be shocked to know the Bears fans were the loudest.
Just shocking. Yeah. Really.
And he didn't want to hear that.
No, of
And it's
course
just a
not.
vibe. And then
He wanted you to support and
yeah.
confirm his
And I'm like,
biases.
and then I made the case that I've made on the show. I said, well, based on that, and he's like, the Bears won. All that matters is the final score. All that matters is the final score. I'm like, yeah, but you can, if you look at it and you're intellectual and use your business, and analyze it.
Yeah.
I'm like, Matt LaFleur kind of outcoached him in those games, especially, I said, first half's the coach's half, second half is kind of the player's half, and they dominated the first half. They didn't get it through, but
It was the Bears defense that dominated the second half.
And I said, well, we'll see. I said, well, we'll see in a year. He didn't like that. And then we walk away and my wife's just like, you gave that dude way too much attention way more attention than he deserved.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well, whatever. Then we stroll past him and he's like at the door. And then I look and it's just all dudes with baseball hats, Marquette hats. And it's like all dudes who are either, I don't know if the Greek scene is big there, Armin, but it's like
It used to not be, but
Pledges.
it's like these dudes lived at McCormick before they
right.
tore it
It's a
down.
McCormick Schrader
It was a
probably living
McCormick
together
Schrader
on Kilbourne,
reunion.
but they're
Yeah.
not like.
But
no,
it
they
was
used to live there
packed
together.
with a lot of people who were still
Yeah.
going. And tip of the cap, because National Marquette Day, you probably started at 9, 10 in the morning.
And a sellout crowd again.
And they're still
for a team
going.
that's not been that good this year. So
But
credit to everybody.
it just cemented to me that like Bears fans are going to be insufferable. And as we were walking away, my wife said, you gave that guy way more attention than he deserved. I'm like, I'm just being polite. I haven't had a couple pops yet. So I'm just going to have my first drink. And I'm like, I was going to drop the nuke on him. And she said, what's that? I was going to connect the dots that he's from Chicago or the suburbs of Chicago.
Suburbs.
Went to Marquette.
Addison. or
Diehard
something.
Bears fan. I was going to ask him, what'd you think of that Brewers Cubs series?
Yeah, that was going to be it. Oh, I'm actually a Sox fan. Yeah, I'm a Sox fan.
Didn't have to go
Actually,
there.
I'm a Sox fan because my grandpa
I didn't
is
have
from West Pullman.
I didn't have to
and
drop
love
that
Sox.
on him, but
I'm
that
more of
would
an
have been-
I'm actually part of my family's Orland Park, so I kind of switched back from Sox and Cubs. And
right.
One of these deals, yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, we've been there.
Yeah,
Listen, I
yeah.
can't speak for every Marquetter,
Showed.
man. There's some out there like that.
Oh yeah.
Fair.
Totally.
I
don't
am
know.
glad that you kept game ball to Drew Olson for keeping that bullet in the chamber.
Yeah, I was.
Hit him with a game ball.
Because the
that's
Venn
definitely a game
diagram,
ball.
Yeah.
It's
the Venn
just-
diagram of Marquette, Bears, Cubs
Yes.
in there, man.
But the thing is, Drew, I like that you had that one. You held that one because the way you described it is, old boy was waiting for some
He was
kind of
gonna pounce
interaction
on
at the
any
door.
Packer fan. He was
Yes.
he was trolling for a fight, and me being Mr. Detached, analytical. Well, if you look at this, like, I said, we'll revisit this in a year and see what you say.
The best thing is, I would love to know, Armin, how his boys were gassing him up. You had that guy on it. You had that guy.
And one of them might
And
have
then the
known
one
you.
buddy is sitting behind being like, yeah, you actually got dominated.
The other
Let's
thing
just
I was-
sit
Dude,
back
give
and
him
let's
your
just have
take.
another drink.
That's true. Give him your take. This is your chance. Go tell him. Go
And
tell him what
then-
we've been saying. Because I'll be honest with you, it's on campus has always been that economy of like a lot of Chicago fans, but a lot of kids from Wisconsin. And there's always, so I can only imagine the debates going up and down the dorm rooms,
Oh, yeah.
this year that there have been.
Then
so.
the other thing I was going to do was just going to grab his hand and like, are your nails painted? Just checking.
Wow, Drew. Wow.
I didn't do it. That was the other one.
Oh, I didn't expect
That was
that
another
from you.
one I had. No, I didn't use it.
That's a good one.
But
I'm
I
glad
had
you
it
kept
in
that
my
one in.
brain. I had that
Yes.
in reserve.
Yes.
But he was
Then
just,
everyone went to Cafe
Wow.
Benelux for some,
he was
for some
clearly
brunch.
hammered. Yeah. But it's all
Well, of
good.
course. It was
But
National
yeah,
Marquette
he was
Day.
going to pounce on somebody. He was waiting for anybody to walk through. Like anybody who had Packers stuff on, he was going to
Packers fan?
Yeah.
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 What did you think of Ben Johnson? I'm watching this interaction in my mind and
Okay.
dreaming of it. The good thing is I've seen enough AI videos now that I've tried to color myself in honor if it's real or not. I think I'm reliving this entire event. Now, was Jet there? Was the
No, I
was
didn't
the,
have the dog with me.
if the
no.
dog would have been there as
No.
well, then you might have had to drop the nuke because
I
at
might
that
have.
point he's trying to
yeah.
intimidate
I was
you
just
in front
trying
of your
to.
entire
The
family.
interaction lasted as long as it took for me to catch a bartender's eye and him to bring 2 ice
There you
cold
go.
high lifes over.
Toughest part of that interaction is definitely the the first 3% of it, because you know what you're going to be in for. You're going to be in
Oh,
for
yeah.
an annoying
And just
4 minutes
dude
with a
with the
guy
hat.
that's got the most remedial takes of all time. Like it's just going to be it's just going to. I'm sorry,
I don't
it's just
know,
the
like-
most surface level. It's going to be the
Yes.
worst. Oh gosh, here we go.
And
here
it's
we
like
go.
they won 2 games and they won a playoff game and they lost to the Rams in overtime. But it's like, okay, you got wind in your sails. Enjoy the ride while you got it.
It really is the individual that has not had meat in a year and a half because they were dating some girl that decided that she was vegan and he had to be vegan as well. And all of a sudden you realize that was a horrible decision. I like steak and chicken, and sometimes I like ribs and chicken together. And this that first little taste of meat that you're ready to go all ham sandwich.
Totally.
You gotta flip. You always gotta flip that around to something that's super specific to him that he has no idea, and then kind of
And
get him off his heels. Like I don't know how
The
to
thing
talk
was,
about this.
it's just a small place, and I look and I go from one end.
Yeah,
I'm at
shoulder to
one
shoulder.
end,
Yeah.
I'm on the north end. I look down to the south end, and I see guys, and it's like every third guy is wearing like a Marquette hat.
Same thing, like
the
little
quarter
minions.
zips with
Yeah.
the country club on it, and the quarter, and like the hats though. What's with the hats? Like, okay, is this
What's with that? What do you
Caffrey's?
mean? Everyone
It's the
wears
little
hats.
weird slouch hat. I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about, right? It's the
I can't agree.
super denim-y slouch
And-
hat.
But yeah,
I
don't
can't
know.
agree with this. Everyone wears hats. What do you mean? What's with that?
Everyone
No, there's a
wears hats.
specific
Not
hat. There's
in-
a
Oh, the-
specific hat.
but in
that Drew's
civilized
The
talking
society-
about.
47 hitch. The 47 hitch.
Yeah.
Rope hats, probably.
And then some dudes do it
They're
because
comfortable hats.
some dudes do it because the troops are receding, and then some dudes do it. They even guys with nice flow
Bingo.
do it.
Yeah.
Then I'm wondering
You're talking to the wrong guy. I like wearing
when
I'm
you
like wearing
do,
Marquette
but all
hats.
right, but this is a college thing because I've never been much of a hat
Yeah.
guy, and they weren't like in vogue when I was coming up, and we were when I was of that age.
Yeah, okay. That's
But
fair.
when you take the hat off when you're closing a deal, do when it comes time, to close a deal?
Oh yeah.
Do you keep the hat on? Do you take it off and you got hat head?
Let her take
What
it off.
happens?
William?
Let her take it off?
You
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I say you
Take it
just
off,
flip it behind. You just keep it on, but backwards.
Oh, okay.
That's the G. Isn't that the G
That's
move?
the G move.
Well, because you can get
Wondered about
closer.
that.
That's like an umpire, and
Yeah, I mean, but that's like keeping your socks
Hey,
on to me.
it's all-
Like,
exactly.
Oh, you mean that? You mean that deep into the situation?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what did you think?
I thought you meant you're still in public.
Sorry,
and you're
Prom
getting-
King. We're talking a
No,
little bit deeper.
I'm
than
talking
this,
about
yeah.
when you go home. And
We're not going with the remedial
No,
conversation.
you don't keep
with
the
them
hat.
later.
You don't keep the hat on.
See, I thought you flipped it around. I had a visual image of Armin.
I thought you
Armin's
meant
looking.
like-
Armin's looking like the guy at the tool bench. Drew's like, all right, hold on, let me turn this thing around here.
I thought you meant
Let
like
me
when
get a
they-
look at this socket wrench.
when the conversation's getting better.
No,
I thought.
No, I mean,
Oh, God.
No,
hey,
no,
some
I
women
can't do
like that. They're, it's what you're used to.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, back in the day, it was members only jackets could get you some action.
Yeah,
yeah, but she didn't leave the jacket on during.
No,
But-
But
Drew and Armin, I know the hat thing. I don't think you need to take too much offense. I also don't see you wearing the hat that Drew is describing though, because there is a signaled hat.
the
that-
soiled.
yes,
know,
kind of.
oh, one of those.
sweaty. Yeah, that's what you're
Oh,
wearing.
I thought you meant
know?
like the
a lot of
the
them were
rope hats they're wearing.
some of
these
them
days.
were Marquette.
No.
and-
Yes,
yeah.
it's I got this hat my sophomore year, and I've
Wear it
worn
all-
it
it's
to
my
all of
lucky
these games.
hat.
My lucky hat. Yeah, brother,
No,
it's
you
not
gotta-
so lucky. And if you're wearing a sweater, it's probably not the part of the outfit.
Now you do have to keep your hats crispy, which is a problem because you really shouldn't wash hats. But a white hat is a
True.
good look for a lot of these hats. You
Oh.
know, so you got to keep them rotating. You got to keep them crispy because otherwise, yeah, you don't want to look like the hat that you wore all summer when you're working at the golf course, like type of hat. Like, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah, that'd
like
be
in
a
the
tough
Parks
deal.
District hat when you work for the, the Orland Parks District or whatever, the Oak Lawn
It's
Des Plaines Park District or whatever.
it's your lucky hat, and you wore it to National Marquette Day, and they beat Butler. Like, what did you wear the 15 games that?
Yeah,
they,
you're lucky.
that they lost
If-
this
as,
year?
as a Marquette fan here this year, your lucky hat should be very brand new
I was
because
gonna
it should be a new
say.
hat every game. However, I want to say game balls to my Marquette Golden Eagles for finding a way to win on the Marquette National Marquette
Right.
Day. It's a big day for Marquette fans, so they came out with their best effort of the year, and I was happy
It's
to
a
see
big
that.
day for all the establishments in Milwaukee because the alums were out, the
Yeah.
lawyers and dentists were rocking it, the students, it's-
Everyone came back. Even
it's-
Dwayne Wade was there.
D Wade flew in for that.
He
Now,
flew in. That
so
was a game
Crean
ball.
gets honored, but okay, we're not at a round number of that Final Four team,
Mm-mm.
but they brought the Final Four team back.
They brought the 2005.
What are they? 8-15?
They
That's why.
yes, but actually, okay, that's funny.
That's good.
This was they brought the 2005-2016 back. That was the anniversary, I believe, that they brought
Oh.
back the first.
Mm.
Oh, I
the
thought it was the
first-
Final Four team.
Nah.
because Novak was in there, and so.
But when anytime Travis and Dwayne want to come, Steve was always here too. They're all more than welcome to come. But the only guy on that team was actually Steve Novak. I think that was the
First
anniversary.
team in the Big East. Is that what the
First year in the Big East. I
Okay.
saw Dwight Burke. So when you see Dwight
Mm.
Burke make an appearance, you know that he's happy
So-
to come back.
And it just goes to show you, and we'll go through this when Aaron Rodgers comes back and gets celebrated.
Oh, good
right?
one, yeah.
Because Crean, when he left, there was some waxy buildup, and it took a
Mhm.
while. Now he's back in the good graces.
It's more than waxy buildup. This has
And-
got to be one of the most 180 hero arcs I've ever seen.
and well, yeah, it's
There was a time when we didn't think Tom Crean would ever show his face on campus again. The bad feelings between the school, the administration, the athletic department, fan base, and him when he left was strong and it was deep and it cut deep. But
Oh.
it just goes to show you any relationship can be repaired.
As Homer would say, he should always be worshipped there because he brought Dwayne Wade.
Absolutely true.
Dwayne Wade.
He brought the program back. He did.
He brought in Buzz Williams as an assistant. Buzz was a pretty good steward of the program before he left.
Absolutely true. And in recent years, Tom Crean, as he's gone in and out of different jobs, he was at Georgia for a second. He's kind of evangelized from Marquette at how great of a job it was, great of a place, and how important the time there was. And he's a good orator, and it means a lot to Marquette fans to hear that. It meant a lot to Marquette alum to hear that. And so there he was with the blue blazer on, in tears when his name was getting unveiled in the rafters.
Yeah, cool moment.
I never thought I'd see that. I really didn't.
Well, a decade ago, if I would have told you that Brett Bielema or Tom Crean was going to come back to their respective university that they coached at, which one would you have said would have been more likely?
Ooh.
Tough. I mean, it was neck
Because
and neck.
now Bielema can't, right? Now he's coaching Illinois. Now it's completely gone.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But like 10 years ago, I think it would have been.
Bowls.
I think it totally would have been a toss-up, right? I mean,
You're right.
Bielema, granted, he didn't do what you guys said with Green, like bring it back. He would have been the Barry version of it. But there was to talk about resentment on the two sides.
Billy,
I was
totally.
stunned to think of that.
And I think like if it wasn't for, Tom had some success at Indiana, more than I think people remember, but didn't have much at Georgia as other jobs. I think that made a big difference. I think Brett's doing pretty good at Illinois, relatively didn't do good at Arkansas. I think if Tom's last job wasn't as good and his career's kind of wrapping up, now he's going to TV, I think that makes a big difference. So maybe one day, Billy, when Brett Bielema's not coaching anymore and time passes, possibly, but I don't see it either.
I would be sad. Yeah.
But then I didn't. But then again, I didn't see this Tom Crean thing happening years ago either. So you never really know what could happen.
No.
But
I'm with you there. 877-794-1973. Game balls and kicks to the balls. We're not ignoring the Super Bowl. We've just been talking about it a lot, and we will fire that back up for those of you just waking up
about it
right now, because it's the last tackle football, the professional tackle football that we have to talk about for a while. The Underwear Olympics.
Yeah, instead of
and mini camp and OTAs.
February 17th to March 3rd, window to use franchise tags. Giddy up.
Giddy up.
I mean, just like kick to the balls, Bill.
That is a kick to the balls, Armin.
It's a kick to the balls right there.
Right in the.
Oh my goodness.
Right in the sweet
All right,
spot.
so. And we may find out that Drake May was bothered by a shoulder. That's probably going to be the cover story, the revisionism.
there'll be something, yeah.
There are, Patriots
horrible.
media is saying that wasn't it. It was just that they got engulfed, overwhelmed. But in any event, Drake May, if he does need a procedure, a cleanup, I recommend he go to Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Everyone
Our
should.
friends at OAW, the leaders, world-class care right here at home, world-class facilities, unbelievable from the people at the front desk, everybody. So professional, so pleasant, such a great experience. For me, if you have a sports injury in your family, your kid gets hurt playing in a game, and you got to go to the best, orthowisconsin.com, start there and make the appointment, or they go to the Ortho ASAP clinics, find out about them at orthowisconsin.com. And I will always shout out Dr. Matthew Bong. In fact, I might have to go see him again. I'm getting that pinch in the left hip that I had in the right hip, and I can tell it's coming. So I might as well just schedule in advance.
I was going to say, just
like
schedule it out,
change.
get a rotation.
Like an oil change.
I'll pick a good time. I only missed like 2 or 3 shows, I think, when I was rehabbing. That's how good they are. I was back up and
oil
talking.
change, far different procedure, Armin. This would be like a tire rotation.
Yeah,
I see.
Fair
Fair enough.
A little bit.
Good
But
point,
Go
good
see
point.
the best Orthopedic Associates of
Shut up,
Wisconsin.
Blue Mountain State.
Orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. You're hanging out with us in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. The Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armin. Billy, how'd your investments go yesterday? I know you were on when we left on Friday. You were like, Patriots. I thought Seattle was the better team. And I did say on TV, at the risk of patting myself on the back, I did say the only thing I couldn't envision in this game was the Patriots winning a blowout. Everything else was on the table to me, and it ended up being a Seahawks blowout.
I was on the Pats a little bit. I'd moved the number quite a bit over the Potawatomi Sportsbook to give you opportunities to do things like that. So I had them at 11.5. So that last drive, I was desperately hoping for a desperation heave into the end zone to be able to secure something, but not necessarily well. However, did cash a couple of tickets where it was heads. Heads was an easy winner yesterday.
All over heads. And we're all these clowns.
Plus 105.
And we're all these clowns that say tails never fails. Yeah, right. Where are you at now? Tails failed last night. I was on the heads too, Billy. Let's go.
There you go.
Last 103, little discount. Come on now.
Glad you're on the head. But you were able to then also have a proposition. I think it was a little plus money, like plus 110, Drew, of the game to end, or the last play of the game to be completed after or before 9:15.
I love that. No, I love that one. I love that one.
And the under was actually like minus 160. So it was a tougher price for that. So I was happy with those two. Obviously, the smallest bets that I made throughout the entire day are the only ones that you win, because that's generally how it happens. This is not for income, folks. This is for recreational purposes only, with the disposable income you have, not with the money you are planning on going and buying groceries at Pick and Save with later.
I love that you said that. Yeah.
My whole philosophy on investing, as you will,
speaking into existence for myself.
I'm donating this money, and if I get any back, it's a plus.
Yeah.
It's like buying a ticket to see a movie or something.
That's a great point.
Money back.
Yeah,
you're going to be entertained for a couple hours, but it's not like you have a chance to win money back. That's what makes gambling exciting for folks.
I agree. I hate when people say you might lose. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not getting my money back like you said at the movie either.
And if you do win on those sweet victories, you end up giving it back eventually.
Pretty quickly. Pretty quickly after.
So just like that's the way you got to look at it. Is like, I am going to lose this money. I'm handing it over.
Yep.
And if you don't want to do that, then don't do it.
Well, and Drew, it's like, if I'm going to take that $100, and my wife and I have made this joke a number of different times to rationalize how we have fun, where like in the middle of the day for our day dates, we'll end up going to the Potawatomi Sportsbook or Potawatomi Casino, because it's like, otherwise we can go to Target
and spend $100.
So it's like, either way, this one you have a chance to win $100 instead of just win new doorknobs.
We used to just call Target the $100 store.
Yeah,
every time you go in for one thing.
That's what it is.
$100.
And it might be food, it might be jeans. You never really know. But you're buying something, and they're all in that little spot in the beginning where it's all $5, and all those $5 adds up. Kicking the balls though for the overbetters who thought they had quite a comeback story last night when Kenneth Walker's
30-point fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
30 points.
How many people just disregarded that? Those are the best ones to win. I don't know if you agree, Billy. It's the ones you thought you lost.
Oh, yeah.
And then you come back and like, I have life. This could be what a moment. This is found money now. It's dude math, but it didn't get it.
25 minutes of garbage time with 30 points sprinkled in.
Mm-hmm. And one of them a defensive touchdown, and Mac Hollins maybe the most unlikely score of the entire night. Right? Like,
given his walk-in, yes.
Now, Drew, you got to answer me this.
All right.
Do you get the whole get up back on? Like, does he put himself back in the cuffs to walk out of the game, or does he bring in all? If he missed it, Mac Hollins, game ball for Mac Hollins' outfit yesterday.
All right, let's go. Come on now.
Most reason why, because I don't know how you handcuff yourself like that. Like that, he had the cuffs on and the mask on in front,
shackles on the ankles,
shackles rolling in. Like, I don't know how you do that for yourself. That was good work by him.
It was bizarre. I'm like, what is he, Hannibal Lecter?
Something, dude.
What is
Fashion's wild these days.
Going for there?
And maybe you need a little bit of crazy though on your team.
Yeah, you probably.
Maybe you need a little bit of somebody being very grounded. Maybe Mac Hollins needs to be a Green Bay Packer.
A little bit of the criminal element.
Listen, we've heard that.
We
before.
did game ball. Mike Tirico. His first ever Super Bowl was a dud of a game, but he was good.
He was good. Yeah, he was good. I thought Kaylee Hartung in her first Super Bowl was also good on the sidelines.
And Collinsworth is Collinsworth. You either love him or hate him already, but that was his 6th Super Bowl. And he talks a lot, but he's generally pretty good. And I did like that, early on, he's hammering Drake May.
Yeah, he was getting after
him. Oh, yeah, he was totally fair.
Hammering. Yeah. No, it was like the 10th time that he told us it was that this is going to be a defensive battle. I was like, you're driving down Romo Boulevard here. Like, yeah, we all see that. Like, yes.
Mike, I don't know, unless you start seeing Patrick Mahomes come out of here and nobody and start throwing touchdowns like he does, I don't think we're seeing something here. It looks like it's going to be a defensive game.
Was it Dan Patrick who had those guys on together last week?
Yeah.
And he asked him about like the Mahomes fixation, how he gets crushed for that. Because they were both saying like, Collinsworth said every time people come up to him, why do you hate my team?
No,
they all get that.
Joe Buck always talks about
they
that.
all
too.
get that. But his glazing of Mahomes is well documented. And he's like, do I do that? Like,
do I really do that? I go, here's a guy in Patrick Mahomes. He makes all the throws. He's awesome. And now his wife's a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model. Like, good for him. He's living that life. I like to celebrate that, and there's guys out there.
He's a pretty good player if there's a guy that glaze. That's the thing that always cracks you up.
Could be a worse one.
I mean, the guy does make a lot of good plays a lot. So I guess that's why.
But it is Madden level now with Favre, where his ability to randomly bring Mahomes into a game between like the 49ers and Chargers.
Yeah.
That's the impressive feat.
He definitely has a man crush on him.
But then
as a
Tirico
playing
went
ability.
down on the field and was hosting like primetime live in Milan in the Olympics. Now he's getting on a plane and going to Milan.
He's one of the most impressive guys in broadcasting.
That's incredible.
Right now. Yeah.
So
awesome.
yeah, he deserves his flowers.
The
right?
nerdy sports broadcasting one is, how on earth did ESPN let him go?
That's a great point.
I mean, like for the long time, there were the questions of like, how do you fix Monday Night Football? Well, when you didn't need it to be fixed was when Mike Tirico was calling it with John Gruden. Now, granted, Gruden went down to the coaching sidelines and Tirico had a free agency and had all these different opportunities in front of him. But he was the best thing that ESPN had for a long time on the play-by-play deals. And then all of a sudden he skated and they've been left to try and find that answer for a long time and then just pay whatever money they could for Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. They said, all right, we're just going to fix it this way.
How about a game ball to Kenneth Walker II for attending his first NFL game?
Yeah. Good for him. Good dad on that one.
Good choice.
Yeah, good choice on that one. Pops of
doesn't like crowds.
Pops of the Super Bowl MVP does not like crowds, so he has never gone to a game. But Drew, Kenneth did say after the game, he's like, my dad will come to Seattle. He just won't go to the game. Well, I feel like that way you're doing the hard part. And for most people, the hard part is getting into and flying to Seattle, getting yourself there. The easy thing would be, let's find him into a suite, into the family room. But listen, hey, to each his own.
It supports his point, though, that he loves the support, but he doesn't want to walk in the crowd. But if you're making the trip to Seattle, you're showing it, you're showing the action.
Also,
right?
shout out to the agent, who apparently is the one that convinced him.
Game ball, yeah.
When he's answering the question, they're like, did you convince him? And he goes, no, I wasn't the one that actually convinced him. Did anyone not think that he was going to say his mom was the one that convinced him?
No, exactly.
Right. Like, no, my mom told him that he had to be there. He's like, there's no way you're not going to be there. But listen, agent doing what he's paid to do.
Game ball to our local NBC affiliate, WTMJ TV. Got to localize. We had their morning news on earlier, and you got to localize national stories. Like one of the 500 performers in the halftime show with Bad Bunny was a dancer from Waukesha.
Wow.
And they found the dance. That's
and
awesome.
then they also interviewed one of Elliot Wolf's teachers from Green Bay.
Beautiful. There's always a local angle, and that's just
gotta
great
have
work.
that.
That's just the assignment editors are doing work down there. I've been in that newsroom. Great stuff. Great work there.
Yes.
Speaking of NBC and coverage, can I do the coverage is fine. Can I do a game ball and kick to the ball here? All right, Olympic one for you. Game ball and a kick to the ball to the same person, Lindsey Vonn.
Wow.
Game ball, Lindsey Vonn, for probably one of the guttiest things you'll ever see is someone trying to do an Olympic alpine run, an Olympic ski run on a ruptured ACL. I can't imagine anything that takes more courage and fortitude to try and risk with injury and pain and risk more to try and get it. Also, a kick to the ball to Lindsey Vonn, who clearly should have known that she had no chance to do anything there. Took the attention away from Breezy Johnson, who actually won the gold. And I gotta say, a little hero complex there. You gotta have a little hero complex to try and compete in a downhill Olympic run on a torn ACL. Like, come on!
But didn't she practice it already?
I mean, I don't. She might have taken some.
They
runs.
went through like practice runs and things like that,
I'm
right?
just saying,
Because it's definitely her last one.
Last chance. That's why I gave her the game ball. for the grittiness and the courage and the kick to the ball, because I think
All right.
you got to
So
be a
what was
little
she
bit of
supposed to
crazy.
do?
I just
Drop
think,
out?
I just think there's a little hero complex there when I think you do. I think when you have a torn ACL, you drop out. You have an expectation that you can really do this run without, but maybe I'm wrong. That's why I think there's a duality here.
Some of the best sports moments in our lives have been players performing with injuries.
Like Kirk
Tiger
Gibson,
Woods
I
winning
know.
on one
Tiger,
leg.
yeah.
Kirk Gibson.
They could happen, yeah. And that's the game ball part of it. I
No,
gave
but
her both.
I struggle with it because like when you talk about this with football players a lot,
Yes.
like you can't figure out why somebody wouldn't come back if they have a little bit left in the tank. Lindsey Vohn's like, this is my last chance. This is going to be the last time I'm going to be at the Olympics, not in the broadcast booth. I was in the broadcast booth last time.
Exactly.
41 years old. Like, sure, if I can put the biggest brace possible on this thing, I'm gonna try it. I watched a couple of guys, Drew, one of my classmates and one of my roommates back in college. Again, it's Division III football. You're paying to play, not the Olympics. However, last games that he was ever going to play, he blew out his ACL and did everything he could to try to find a way to play. Played in like 2 games. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. However, it did pop, and then all of a sudden it was done, and there was more stuff to it. But a kick to the balls that it happened, but I can't give her a kick to the balls in any way, shape, or form for choosing to play or choosing to do it.
Yeah. How about a game ball to your Milwaukee Bucks?
Come on now.
Fear the deer. We're
recent
back.
surge, fear the deer, but getting Cam Thomas. He could have gone somewhere else where he was poised for playoff success, but he chose to come and like try to, learn from Giannis, try to like reposition himself for the next chapter.
And I thought the interesting part was the quote that he reportedly gave as well to Mark Spears, where he said, I picked Milwaukee because they wanted me and told me that they've been interested for years now. So it's good to have this opportunity to come to fruition. I'm hoping to just meet everybody, get to know, and contribute as soon as possible. They wanted it for years now. They've had their name attached to them. But this is the weird part of NBA trades where it's like, yeah, this guy's too valuable for us to trade for just anything, but he's not valuable enough for us to want to keep, pay, and or play significant minutes. Like, it's a weird spot for a lot of these different teams, but he can fill it up. And if there's any, I appreciate the pluckiness. Now, you want to talk about a team that might err, and it might be best if they do not find a way to crawl out of this 3.5 game hole that they have going into the play-in tournament, with Giannis potentially coming back after the All-Star break. But they seem hell-bent on trying to find a way to do it, Drew. They seem poised to find a way to try to extend this season with Giannis, and I think you got to give them an admirable credit for it. Maybe it's not the smartest thing to do. I know a lot of NBA people don't like it, but they've chosen their path, and they're going to stick to it.
Yeah,
I applaud that.
That's another one where you could give a game and a kick, I think, for trying to win.
Ben on the talking text line 877-794-1973, brought to us by Nicolay Law. Don't forget Milwaukee's own Sister Strings performing with Brandi Carlile pregame.
Yay, there we go.
That was a Milwaukee flavor to the pregame.
Let's go.
Did Charlie Puth hit the over or the under?
I don't know. I thought probably over because he seemed to have some long pacing to him. It seemed like that start felt over to me.
I thought they were going to stop booking that because everyone was getting the rehearsal time and feeding it out to people. I thought I saw a story about that.
Have you seen Kalshi and Polymarket? It's littered with people with inside information manipulating markets.
By the way, you brought up Kalshi.
Go ahead.
Game ball Giannis at that Agumbo.
Game ball, let's go.
Suck it, losers. He's getting the money. I get it. You might not like it. It's probably definitely a conflict of interest. 1,000% true.
1,000%.
But if they're going to give me some money for it, he said, I'm ready for that check.
Now, he's an investor though, right?
That's right.
He's on the board now,
Yeah.
but I don't know he's just going to endorse it.
Yeah, he's going to endorse it. He's going to put out the graphic for it. Listen, you know what? Hey, go get your money, young man. Go get your money, young man. I'm proud of him. I'm not going to use it. But go for you.
And I'm going to stick up for sports books here a little bit, who have long complained about prediction markets not being classified as gambling.
No, that's the biggest crock there is.
There's no question that is one of the biggest crocks ever. So everyone wants to say that sports books are that bad. I'm like, oh, but you'll do prediction markets and speculating on stocks. No, I'm sorry, that's gambling. Prediction markets are gambling. I don't think how can anyone deny that?
1,000%.
1,000%, and they do it. They're doing it like very, very shadily on how they're getting money around and like allowing you to put different money on it.
Much less regulated.
If you're gonna make money on it, he's like, wait, this is a sinking ship,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
saw a lot of people make a lot of money in crypto. I'm going to jump myself in there, grab money, and get out.
People have lost a lot of money in crypto recently.
Just get
too.
out as soon as possible. Yeah, make the money and get out early.
It's wild.
Get out in front of it.
Absolutely wild. And game ball, speaking of Giannis, game ball to our buddy Mike Clemens, because I don't know if those were his photos or not, but he's the first person I saw that had pictures of Giannis exiting Levi Stadium.
That was
He was at the Super
impressive.
Bowl.
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. Drew looked like he was moving pretty well.
Yeah. Well, he's been working out pregame.
Moving pretty well.
Will he be in Orlando tonight? Where the Bucks? Will he be back? Will
It
he join
sounded
them?
like he might want to be wanted to play in this All-Star game coming up this weekend.
Ooh.
I think he wants to
But
play
that
all the
return-
time. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's
And-
not just coach.
And,
And
I'm
it's
gonna
USA versus the world
Ooh.
coming up this weekend. Might be a little bit
Oh,
more motivation to want to play if he's
Oh
in.
my goodness.
and let
I
me
hadn't
give
thought of that.
speaking of Mike, let me give a quick kick to the balls.
Whoa.
Not for him, but he showed what it costs to get 2 sodas, 2 hot dogs, and a popcorn at the game. It was like $400. I'm sorry, that's crazy. That's just disrespectful to the people, man. You can't gouge people you can, I know. 2 sodas, 2 dogs, bag of chips, popcorn, $400. That's just absolutely
That
revolting.
can't be true.
That's what I thought.
Can't
But
be.
I'm not calling Mike Clemens a lie. I
No,
love Mike.
I
so.
think he had to be. Like, that's just, you can't.
How could it be that much, right?
We'll Google it up. But yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, it's tough.
No
I can't
way.
think so.
I
I
can't
don't
believe
think so
it.
either, but
Can't
I'm
believe
reading it.
I know it's expensive there because I bought a big soda at Jerry World and it was pretty expensive. But yeah. All right. We will discuss. Oh my goodness. It's already time to close things down.
It's just wild. How does this
Just
happen
got
so
rolling.
quickly?
Oh, you can
Every
go back.
time.
If you're just waking up, you can go back and watch the show on YouTube and, fire it up that way.
We had our friend Rhonda say this is for the Huddle guys. So happy I can listen to your show delayed on YouTube.
Always a podcast
Come
on the
on, Rhonda.
iHeartRadio app as well. All right. We're going to be back to close up shop. It's the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Oh, time to close up shop on the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. But you still got time to get us game balls and kicks to the balls, 877-794-1973. A number that may be changing in the not too distant future, we heard.
Keep you posted on that.
Yes.
Even though we are not going to be executing the plan as much as it kind of seemed like that was when the individual told us they were thinking that that's what we were going to do. But no. So whenever it does happen, though, whenever the other powers that be do it,
our friends will be the first to know.
The new number who dis. We'll give you the text.
Yeah,
you
new
up.
number. Who dis.
We'll
Still
try our
time to
best
get
and
them to
let
us.
you know.
We have not. The one thing we have not touched today, and it's been losing luster over the years, but the commercials. I made a conscious effort to not watch any previews or anything. So most of the commercials I saw yesterday, I was seeing for the first time. And most of them were, to put it delicately, underwhelming. There was one, however, the Duncan commercial. I thought that's one that Armin's got to get right there.
That was my one and only kind of one.
Armin's
that I remembered
favorite when Urkel made an appearance, right?
Urkel, Alfonso Ribeiro. I think they were all the old greats from all the old shows were in there. Obviously, Jennifer Aniston, Joey Tribbiani, George Costanza, all the nostalgia was there for me in that one. Otherwise, I do think it's another unremarkable commercial run. But
my wife asked, "Is this AI?" And I'm like, "No, I'm sure that they all probably were willing participants because Affleck, and Duncan thing.
Yeah.
But it might have been CG because she's like, how come none of them have any wrinkles? I'm like, well, there's Botox.
Well, you clean them up.
CG.
Yeah,
CG.
Makeup, and Ted Danson made his appearance. I thought that was cool to have all the cameos, but
it was right in Armin's wheelhouse of young Armin watching must-see TV and a lot of NBC shows, obviously, right? So,
they were all the NBC. Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was all the NBC stuff.
My wife was very excited when they started the Backstreet Boys one, where it was just
Laura went nuts, man.
just playing the lyrics throughout, and then all of a sudden Coinbase pops up. I'm like, crypto?
Yeah, I know.
Yes, all right. It's like everybody, we're back. Sure, I guess.
It's like, oh, man, it's AJ and Kevin, and Laura was excited, and then of course Lena started going crazy because everyone's jumping around, and I'm like, Coinbase, like, come on, like.
I had like 5 different things swirling in my head of what it was. Actually, the lettering and the lighting and the colors, the furthest thing in my back of my mind was like, how on earth are they rebranding Blockbuster? Like, what is it going to be, a streaming service?
That's a good,
They're going to be combining a bunch in here for one-stop shop on a not cable version. I was very excited for that, and then it was Coinbase. I was less than enthused. There was also another one that got me right in the feels, where it was like, loving your neighbor or something. And all of a sudden, it was a Redfin commercial. I'm like, I think there's a lot of people that want. It was like, invest in a neighborhood, buy a house. Trust me. I think a lot of people would like to buy a house. People are hoping they can buy a house and they can afford to buy a house. It's not that they don't want to.
I don't think the desire is the issue.
I don't think that it's a demand or a want to.
It's true. What about the AI spot with the guy trying to do a pull-up? Okay, how can I get a 6-pack? And then there's a commercial in there. It's like, you're in the middle of a commercial making fun of somebody doing a commercial.
That's a tough deal.
Oh, it's badly executed.
Now, I'll be honest. I think maybe Super Bowl commercials took a dive once Doritos stopped doing them.
Man, they had the best
Doritos
commercials.
were always the best.
They were always pretty
like
good.
the kid with the time machine in the front yard a number of years ago. That was one of the all-time greats. He starts kicking the dude around and he steals his Doritos. They always had some
I think
bangers.
that Armin would like the Michelob Ultra with the Kurt Russell doing the Herb Brooks callbacks.
That was pretty cool. But did you guys
Ultra instructor?
Did I miss? Was there a Pepsi commercial? It used to go hard into it. Were there Pepsi commercials? I don't know. I know Budweiser came back with a little bit, and they used to be big on the Bud Bowl thing. I just, the more I think about this, and I brought this up last week about how we're not titillated anymore. The more I think about this, the more I think we're just desensitized to everything that might be good and funny. Like, it might be there were some good commercials, but now it's like scroll. That's our mentality, and TikTok and everything. So maybe that's
I was going to say the internet's just so good.
I know. And maybe that's partly like we're the problem. Like for like
true.
Creating so many good things. Like, like, you look for memes now that are as good as any of these other spots.
No doubt. Locally did see a David Gruber commercial or two during the course of the pregame and stuff. So David Gruber, one call, that's all. Our buddy Paul Hansen.
I
saw that.
Saw that one.
Iron Jock mentions throughout the afternoon. And they didn't have a spot, but my pals at Game Day Men's Health deserve one.
Yep.
GameDayMen'sHealth.com is the website. Find a clinic near you. Sign up for that free, no obligation consult. See if they can change your life. They've changed lives for thousands nationwide. Many clinics locally. I visit the Brookfield Clinic on a weekly basis. They do such a good job. Check them out. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game. If your mental fog man boobs,
Clear them all
dad
up.
bod.
Yeah.
Go see them. See what they can do for you.
Yeah, and the last game ball for me was Happy Place Hemp and that new promo code Huddle to get 25% off and free shipping, because you know what it did? Made that game viewable in the fourth.
It really did, and we appreciate everybody, because the old codes are going to go away soon, much like our phone number might. So use the code Huddle at happyplacehemp.com for the best CBD products anywhere.
Anywhere.
Big fans of Rob and Chris in Muskego. Check them out. And as people, discover that we have a show, they'll see that we're still doing business with our pals at happyplacehemp.com. We'll do more business tomorrow with the Tuesday edition. Stan Van Gundy's going to join us.
Let's ride.
We'll see you at 5.
Peace.